In a city where taking chances can pay big dividends, the Xfinity Series playoff drivers can hit the jackpot and win their way into the championship for today.
The 8 drivers making their way into the second round.
To the round of 8 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
It's hard to define what it takes to be a champion. That's everything you dream of, is to be a champion. I want to build my own legacy.
Winning the championship and getting a trophy like this, it's kind of hard to put into words what it would mean to you.
It's been a grind. It's been really tough.
It just takes a lot of consistency and a lot of grit to be there at the end.
You have to be able to endure.
Discipline, consistency, execution.
It's about being smart and executing.
What it's going to take to be a champion is perseverance. You're going to have to get through a lot of different battles.
There's a lot of sacrifices that are made.
You have to rise to the occasion in these moments. Everything that has gone into my life has gone into racing for a championship.
Welcome to Countdown to Green from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Each of the 8 drivers with a different motivation to get to that championship race and a possible championship. Hello everyone, alongside Steve Letarte, Rick Allen, and our drivers Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Burton Jr. I want to start with you. A 25-year-old track has a lot of character in it.
Yeah, Rick, this place is going to be pretty challenging today, and I think one of the biggest challenges for the drivers are the bumps down in turns 1 and 2. Right against the bottom of the racetrack, they're very rough. You see these cars struggling through the bumps last night in practice and qualifying. Look at the back of these cars bouncing around, bottoming out on the racetrack. Riley Herbst gets out of shape, spins the car out. Imagine on restarts, 2 and 3 wide, if the guy on the bottom gets into those bumps, needs to go up the racetrack to save his car. He's going up into traffic. He's going to make contact with other cars, and that's going to create problems.
And with 8 drivers in the playoffs that have to deal with these conditions, think about these guys. A.J. Allmendinger, 40 years old, looking for his first NASCAR championship. Ty Gibbs, 9 wins, but this is his first full season. Brandon Jones, 7 years in Xfinity Series, hoping to use that experience. And then Austin Hill, his first year in Xfinity, a Truck Series veteran. He's had to learn all year how to drive these Xfinity cars.
Well, that's 4 of the drivers, Jeff. The other 4 all out of Junior Motorsports. The powerhouse with 4 cars, 13 wins this year. Their most statistically, 7 of them by this man, Noah Gragson. He's at the top of the standings. Right in the middle, though, their veteran, the 36-year-old Justin Allgaier, over 400 starts without a championship. I believe this could be his year. Josh Berry, why not? He won here last year. He's proven he had success. And the 19-year-old, he might be at the bottom of the standings, but Sam Mayer, with only 47 starts, making the playoffs, Rick, is a huge accomplishment. Half of the field represented by Junior Motorsports.
Those 8 drivers all with a shot tonight to get into the championship 4 with a win. We'll make our predictions when we return to Vegas. First race of a round, always important. This is the round of 8, even more important because a win here and you can advance all the way to the championship 4. That Phoenix race that will determine if you are a champion. All of us making picks. Marty, Dave, Parker, all on differing strategies there with Ty Gibbs with so many wins, Austin Hill, and Trevor Bayne. And then I see over here the 9 of Noah Gragson. Jeff, what are you thinking about him getting another win?
Well, I think Noah Gragson loves running the top. As hot and slick as this racetrack is, I think that's where the groove's going to go, and he's going to be happy up there.
Steve, you and I with Justin Allgaier, I looked at it. He hasn't won here before, but he has the most top 5s and most top 10s of any drivers here at Las Vegas. Let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your hats as Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Alsco Director of Sales and Marketing, Ben Fox, offers today's invocation.
Dear Father in heaven, we come before thee at this time grateful for this stadium which has been prepared for the Alsco Uniforms 302 race. We ask thou would bless those who have prepared us this day, the custodians and the maintenance crews and all those who work so hard to help us have an enjoyable event. Please bless the drivers, watch over them and their families as they travel to and from, that they'll be protected and watched over. We ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
here to perform our national anthem, please welcome local teenage singing sensation, Cassandra Cleaver.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Time for the drivers to climb inside these cars, strap in, and get ready for just over 300 miles of racing from Vegas.
The spotlights have shined before. On February 5th, they will shine again on an event unlike anything in LA. You coming? Get your tickets now at NASCARclash.com.
We're underway in Vegas.
Oh yeah, let's go!
Your brake, hold your brake.
Yes, Smash Man.
Whoa. What a moron. Big wreck here.
Several cars collected in that melee. 3 playoff drivers in that wreck.
Side, 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, inside.
Josh Berry wins at Vegas.
1, 2, 3 finish.
Knowing what's on the line for these drivers, how aggressive will they get and how early will they be aggressive? For more on these playoff drivers, let's go down to Parker Kligerman.
Well, Rick, for 36-year-old veteran Justin Allgaier coming into this Las Vegas race, he's 11 points above the cut line in 4th, but this race may be the most important of this round because this is one of his best racetracks. He's finished 2nd here 3 times. He just told me he loves that it's a hot and slick Las Vegas. That allows him to go up the top. That fits his style. But this race is important because of next week. Miami, not as much confidence there, does not have the same results, and they want to make sure they are in the championship 4, and they want to get that done here today. So this race may be the most important one of the round for Justin Allgaier, Dave.
Parker, the only rookie in the 2022 playoffs is Austin Hill, but he's a rookie with some age on him. Yeah, he's 28 years old. He's also got 44 starts in the Xfinity Series, and that's important because the 29 races this year have taught him more than he ever thought he would know about the Xfinity Series car. It's so different than the truck he used to race, and now he has a feeling for what he needs. He knows how to communicate to the team what he wants. Most recently, a 2nd place finish at Texas tells him that he knows what he wants on a 1.5 mile track. That's what we've got again here today. And so Austin Hill is looking for a good day in Sin City, Marty.
Boy, Dave, I'm not sure the racetrack's the Final Four of the season layout better for Noah Gragson. In fact, yesterday, Gragson told me you could argue the 4 racetracks left this year could be our 4 best racetracks. It starts here in his hometown of Las Vegas, where he's done everything but win. Then Miami, where last year he had the best car. And then Martinsville, where he did win the playoff race last year. And for the rest of the year, every week, Noah Gragson will bring a race car equipment-wise to the racetrack that has already won at least 1 race this year. Gragson trying to establish in his hometown race that the Xfinity Series Championship runs through the 9 team, Rick.
Noah Gregson, definitely the fan favorite here in Las Vegas. Let's get the engines fired. We go trackside for the command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Alsco Regional Sales Manager, Chris Wilson.
Let's go, race fans! On behalf of Alsco Uniforms, our amazing customers, and our incredible employees worldwide, drivers, start your engine!
Fired up, fired up.
Engines are fired. Getting ready for a little over 200 laps from right here at Vegas.
I was just a young and bouncing on my mama knee. She said there's only one thing to set your soul free. Wasn't no easy street where I come from. There wasn't no sleep until the work was done. That victory bell, one for the money, to another show. Please start your engines now and rock and roll.
It's NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Las Vegas. The Alsco Uniforms 302. Cars beginning to roll around the track now as we take a look at the starting grid. A.J. Allmendinger won the pole last night. Trevor Bayne will start in row one with him. Then you have Ty Gibbs, playoff driver. Noah Gregson, playoff driver. Sam Mayer, playoff driver. Brandon Jones, Austin Hill in row four, all playoff drivers with great qualifying runs.
Yeah, a lot of the top 10 made up of playoff drivers, but the lowest playoff driver, Josh Berry, will start in row 6 next to John Hunter Nemechek. You see Jeremy Clements there, Jeff Burton, Landon Castle, and back in row 10, making her Xfinity Series debut, the 21-year-old out of Temecula, California, Haley Deegan, doing a really nice job in practice and qualifying. Big change from a truck. Should be fun to follow today.
Let's dial up Brandon Jones on the radio.
Hey, Brandon, NBC, you got us?
Should actually be outside of him.
Hold on, let's let them get, he had pulled out of line to get his steering wheel straight. Let's let them get back where they belong, and then we'll get back with them. Here we go. Hey, Brandon's guys in the NBC booth, you with us?
Gotcha, man. How's it going up there?
It's going great up here. This is your third straight season, making the round of 8. Just curious how that experience is going to help you today.
And well, I would say that it's going to play off pretty well. I'm super thankful and happy to get this Cup and R 19 in the round of 8 here. Certainly not going to waste an opportunity, man. These are all three really phenomenal racetrack sports in this next round that we're in. And I think today will be one of those days that we can try to get ourselves in the round of 4. And if not, we've got 2 really good tracks coming up left that can make it happen. So we're going to go for it today. If not, try to take a little bit of points and see what happens here.
Well, it's a hot day, racetrack slick. What are you expecting?
Yeah, we practiced qualified similar to nighttime conditions and middle of the sun today with a lot hotter track temps. So I expect the guys that were really fast yesterday may come back to us a little bit, and I'm actually kind of happy with our balance. I think what we had yesterday to compare to what the track's going to do today, I feel like we're going to have a pretty good little fast number 19 here to go for it. So time will tell, I suppose.
All right, buddy. Good luck. We'll be riding on board. Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Enjoy the show.
Great shots from the Toyota onboard camera in Brandon Jones's car.
All right, Junior Jeff, he mentioned it. They qualified last night. The temperature quite a bit different now this afternoon, 83 degrees currently, and that's going to continue to rise.
Yeah, so the hotter temperature will make this track wider, meaning the guys will run higher on the racetrack, even up against the wall at some points in this race. Last year and the year before, the cars were at the fence 20 laps into a tire run, Jeff. We're going to see that again today. Typically, though, as the race cools off, we'll get later in the day, they gravitate back to the bottom, but I don't think we'll see that today as this race should end around 3 p.m.
Yeah, I agree. I think the track's going to get more slick as the race goes on. Drivers and teams are going to have to be searching the entire race to make their cars better, and the drivers are going to have to find a way to put them in the best position as that track does change.
All right, Steve, what about the race breakdown?
Well, it's a kind of a tale of two races when you really look how this Las Vegas race breaks down, right? It's 201 laps, a little over 300 miles, but the first and second stage are only 45 laps each, so real sprints. And then that final stage at 111 laps, that is a long ways outside of a fuel window. So green flag pit stops we've seen here before. It's going to be intense right from the word go. You mentioned during the starting grid all the playoff drivers inside the top 10. Those points will be scored at the end of stage one, only 45 laps away.
Strategy coming into play. And again, for playoff drivers, win and you advance to that championship 4. For a few more details on these playoff drivers, let's go to Parker.
Well, Rick, I always find it interesting how young drivers learn. In the case of 19-year-old Sam Mayer there, he was watching the race back from earlier this year where he ran in the top 5 and he used a term throughout the race, sloppy. Taylor Morey, his crew chief, said, I was so proud of him. He saw all the things that he did wrong. When I asked him how that will help him today, he said, I now know what not to do when I'm in position up front. That will hopefully propel him to his first win, Dave.
The number 1 car actually won this race last year, Parker, but it was at the hands of Josh Berry in a substitute role for Michael Annett. That was one of 3 starts here for Berry, who drives the 8 car today. And that confidence, perhaps that was one of the reasons why qualifying 12th yesterday, he kind of brushed it off. Felt like today would be a much better day, and there was nothing to be concerned about in the 8 camp, Marty.
Well, Dave, despite all his success this year with 5 wins, Ty Gibbs and his race team kind of putting a little pressure on the race today, the first one of the round of 8. Why is that? Well, he's never raced at Homestead Miami at all. Has some time there in a Cup Series test, and that is it. In Martinsville, who knows what can happen. Here at Vegas, they won the spring race. They feel like they need to capitalize today. Meanwhile, A.J. Allmendinger starts on the pole, and there's no question for Colleague Racing, the mile-and-a-half tracks have been their big struggle. But a new aero design on the body side came out of Texas. He finished 4th there, and today a new chassis and a new aero design. So they feel really good about the program they might have, thanks to Nutrient Ag, for the onboard ride with A.J. Allmendinger today. The pole sitter, Rick, we'll see how Colleague Racing and A.J. will do this afternoon, trying to win his 3rd straight Xfinity Series race.
Yeah, Marty, and the uniqueness of NASCAR in the situation that these playoff drivers are in, they're on the racetrack with 30 other cars. So there's 38 cars out here as these 8 drivers are trying to determine if they can make it into the next round and potentially race for a championship.
This is the second round. You know who we're racing. We're down a little bit, but we're not out. Just go and execute all day. We'll try to maximize our points, hopefully put ourselves in position to win. You know, we're racing around, good decisions all day. Copy that.
Pep talk?
Well,
or strategy, thinking we make sure what we're doing out here.
Well, you mentioned it. It's as much of a pep talk as just a, hey, reminder. Let's not let the moment be too big. Let's not forget how we got here. Be real focused with all our decisions.
201 laps in front of these drivers as the green flag comes out here in Vegas.
Three wide down the back straightaway. Gibbs sliding back through there a little bit. Didn't have a good exit of turn 2. Noah Gragson with a great run on the 18 is going to get shut off here on corner exit.
Noah already tried to push that outside. We know how much he likes running it early in this race, trying to make it work.
Pretty wide back here for position.
Strikes me, we talk about how low grip the racetrack is and how bumpy it is, because that's all real. But we don't mention the speed perhaps quite enough. For a mile and a half, so fast in the middle of the corner.
Noah Gragson looking to the bottom of the racetrack now, trying to get by Trevor Bayne in the 18. Noah Gragson in the 9.
Yeah, Noah's having a hard time trying to figure out where the 18's going to go so that he can go the alternate route.
Allmendinger now having Trevor Bayne closing in on his back bumper as the 9 also runs up the racetrack a little bit. They'll have momentum coming off the 2.
I feel like Trevor Bayne and that car following A.J. Allmendinger with the Nutrient Ag Solutions camera. He saw that 9 car Gragson on the outside. He went and took that away from him, but gave him the outside in 3 and 4, and Noah taking advantage of it.
Noah up to second now as he gets just the nose in front of the 18, but here comes Bayne fighting back on the inside again.
Whoa, he's spinning.
Sideways, and Bayne, can he catch it?
Hold on to it.
He does.
Good catch, come on.
That was a massive save. Unbelievable. I thought he was going around.
He'll fall all the way back, trying to stay inside the top 10.
And he's cooked that right rear tire. You'll have to wait on that to cool down a little bit so some grip can come back. But that's the challenge that we talked about in the early part of the show with the bumps down in turn 1 and 2. You go down there.
Catching his breath.
He's proud of himself. You guys see that?
You get down on the bottom of the racetrack in the turn, and he's still struggling back there top of the racetrack. Josh Berry on the inside. He's got his hands full here, guys. Once you have that kind of a moment, car really doesn't seem to come right back to you.
He's got Noah on the outside of him, which is taking some air off the right side of that car. He was loose anyway, and just a nice job of saving it. Watch this.
Really loose now.
Yes, you are. We can see it really loose. Look at that. That's as far around as you can get without spinning it.
What a save by Trevor Bayne.
And he's got that, like I say, he got that rear tire really hot. He cooked it there. And that's going to be, it'll be a while before he gets comfortable again. That temperature comes back down in that right rear tires. You lost a lot of track position. The 9 car up here trying to hound Allmendinger in the 16 leading the race.
Yeah, Noah Gragson seems to have the fastest car right now as he tries to find a way around the 16. Right now he's looking to the inside.
That was going to the bottom there, Rick. Been following AJ through the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2. Tries the bottom there. Can't make that work.
Through 3 and 4 and the center of 3 and 4. The 9 with a big run now as he comes up on the inside of A.J. Allmendinger for the lead. Gragson all the way to the apron. And now on the bottom of the racetrack into 1.
Noah immediately went to that second lane to take that away from Allmendinger. Noah driving with so much confidence right now. As soon as they dropped the green flag, he was on full offense. Jumped on the outside, trying to make something happen. You see Brandon Jones on the outside of the 7 of Allgaier.
Full side draft. The 7 car on the side of the 19 is going to try to pull him back clear. Here comes Brandon trying to fight back on the outside.
Justin Allgaier still in front of the 19 of Brandon Jones. So it's Gragson, Allmendinger, Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill all in the top 5, and then this battle here for 6 between Allgaier and Jones. Hemrick, Mayer, and Creed in the top 10.
Landon Castle in that 10 car on the bottom of the racetrack trying to keep this position from Josh Berry. Down the back straightaway, they'll have the run and the momentum. Back down to the inside, the 10 of Castle fighting in the middle of 3 and 4. Look at that 8 moving around. He's going to look to the outside of his teammate here, possibly. Thought about making it 3 wide. Davey decided to stay in line.
Yeah, that made you a little less nervous, didn't it? So Josh Berry so far going the right direction. Hasn't picked up a lot of spots yet, but radioed his team about 5 laps ago. I like it. I think we're going to be okay. And that's good comfort knowing where they started again, 12th. Nothing to worry too much about, but Josh knowing what he might need for the end of this race. It's a long day, 201 laps.
Picking off a couple spots right here. Creed sliding back. There you see Trevor Bain trying to regroup here.
Well, Josh Berry knowing what it takes to run this long race. This race last year, on the long runs, he dominated. Drove away from everybody, won the race. Wasn't that fast when the race started, but when the race ended, it wasn't even close. So Josh Berry can use that experience to understand what it takes. Well, that's the important part, and that's the end.
Sam Mayer in the 1, just in front of Josh Berry. Junior Motorsports cars up there. Now a battle for second heating up as Ty Gibbs has come into the picture in the 54. See him running way up against the fence. So we're starting to see a lot of movement up the racetrack, searching for grip.
No one's really been able to make a ton of time on the high side of turns 3 and 4 just yet, Rick. We see the 54 car trying to use the bottom there. Everybody's still pinned to the bottom of 3 and 4 for the most part. There's some guys moving around in 1 and 2, making a little bit of time up top. You don't see a lot of rubber getting laid down on the track. Most of the rubber we have is from the Cup Series qualifying and practice session earlier today. So this tire not really putting a ton of rubber down. That will tend to keep the track a little narrow. See this 9 car now. These guys are moving to the middle of 3 and 4.
Allmendinger seems to be closing back in on Noah Gragson.
And you think that's probably why we saw the 9 run the middle. Allmendinger moved there a lap or 2 before, made a little time. He gets some information. Noah gets information about that. He moves his line around as well, Marty.
A.J. Allmendinger trying to hold on to second, but no chance. Ty Gibbs going to go right by him. So, Junior, I asked A.J. about these hot, slick conditions before he climbed in the car. He said, man, we just do not have the mechanical grip of the JRM cars, which is Noah Gragson, who passed him, and Ty Gibbs, who's trying to make that pass as well. So why would he need mechanical grip in hot, slick conditions like this, Junior?
Yeah, when the track conditions are hot and slick, that's where you find a lot of speed and pace is in the grip of the car, how the tires adhere to the racetrack. Looks like that 16 car's got plenty of mechanical grip to me as he fends off that battle for second, and now in a lap later is going after first place over Noah Gragson.
Gragson up front, went to high school about 30 minutes from here, and he's never won his home track. He wants to change that statistic today. There's an all-new Saturday Night Live with host and musical guest Megan Thee Stallion. Tonight, live coast to coast, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Pacific on NBC and Peacock. Noah Gragson out in front here at Vegas, but under fire right now from the 54. Here comes Ty Gibbs.
Ty finally got by Allmendinger, who's faded off of these 2 right here in 3rd place. So now Gibbs is going after the 9 and doing it on the bottom of the racetrack. Noah's found a little bit of pace in his car up top, but that 54 is coming on the bottom. Noah's going to have to figure out if he can get back down the racetrack and take that line away.
I actually think Noah can go all the way to the top. I think the track's ready. We're seeing some cars back in the pack, running up by the wall. He's afraid to go there because he's the leader of the race, and if it doesn't work out, he's going to look silly. But there are other cars that are making it work, and Noah is so comfortable up there by the wall. I think that's eventually where he's going to need to go.
16 went up through 1 and 2, not all the way against the fence. Some guys are starting to run it, not all the way against it, but about a lane off the wall through 1 and 2.
This will be a tough pass for the 54 on the bottom. He's a little faster than Noah, obviously. But when you get underneath the car, you can't open up the wheel and get on the throttle, use the throttle like you'd like to on corner exit. You shallow up the racetrack and have to run a tighter line and can't really produce the same type of speed side by side. Maybe you could disrupt this 9 car enough aerodynamically, get near the left rear quarter panel and push that 9 car around a little bit without actually making contact. Get Noah out of the gas and make the pass that way.
In March, it was flip-flop, these 2.
There it is. So he gets close enough, Rick, and disturbs the 9 car. 9 can't finish the throttle. He's going to carry the momentum down the straightaway on the inside. That shows you how to make that pass. And
tight right now. Yeah, good.
That's Noah right there talking about being tight. You know why you were tight, Noah? Because the 54 got on your left rear quarter panel.
Well, this is the way it finished in March, with Gibbs winning and Noah Gragson finishing in second, and we're only 21 laps into this one. Or 21 to go. 25 of the laps complete And Steve, as you mentioned before, 45 laps for stage 1.
Yeah, the top 6 cars all occupied by playoff drivers. John Hummer Nemechek, the top non-playoff driver, in 7th. As we see the 21 continue to march forward. Austin Hill is going to... Nice clean move on the 16. I think we were listening into the 16's radio right there. Couldn't exactly make out what he was saying, but you could see and you can hear. I mean, listen to the very, very tempered use of the throttle on corner exit. Dave.
Steve, nice move up to 3rd place for Austin Hill from his 8th place starting position. The car, according to the driver, just a little bit tight on the bottom. He was reminded by his spotter to keep working turns 1 and 2. Remember, very, very good here in a truck earlier in his career. 2 wins for him, learning the Xfinity Series car and putting it to good use today, Marty.
He just passed A.J. Allmendinger, who's fallen back to the 4th, and what he was saying is they were trying to get him to run the middle lane, Steve, in turns 3 and 4, and he said the front end right now in this car is just so bad right now. I'm having trouble keeping it pinned to one lane going through 3 and 4 and 1 and 2.
Well, it makes it even worse when you have to run the bottom down here through the bumps. You just have to wait for the front end to work. You can't push it. You can't hustle it when the front end of the car is not working. While it sounds more uncomfortable, like the car is going to spin out, I think the driver at least has more options to make pace. When you just are waiting on the front tires, there's just nothing you can really do as a race car driver to make it much better other than just slow down and not overrun them.
Want to mention, while all this was going on, Ryan Sieg came to pit road with an issue. Ryan, usually a good top 10 thread here at this racetrack, lost a few laps, moving back out on the racetrack.
See him trying to blend out as he comes off of the apron.
When we talk about, you know, the bug that flies into the drink of some of these playoff guys, it's guys like Sieg, it's guys like Nemechek, Hemrick that are going to get into that top 10 possibly and take away stage points from these guys that really, really need it. Parker, what you got?
As we take a look here at Justin Allgaier, I think we're getting that point of the run where cars just don't drive well, but that's not really the point, right? It's if the lap time matches up, and I think that's the case for Justin Allgaier in that 7 car. He's been going through a litany of issues. It's too tight on entry. He doesn't have lateral rear security through the center. It's too loose off in a 4-wheel drift, but his team reminds him that's a top 5 lap time almost every lap here, and that's just what these cars and these drivers are fighting right now, is that lack of grip, right? As his run goes on, the tire fall off, this heat here, it's going to drive awful, but if you're just a little better than the cars in front of you, you can still create lap time.
You see that 21 car passing the 9 for second. We talked about it in the practice qualifying show. The 21 team, RCR, they always show up when it matters. They brought a fast car for this 21 at Austin Hill, all the way up to 2nd place.
And doing it right on the bottom of the racetrack. Austin Hill's been locked right on that white line the entire race. It's been a transition for him. We've talked about it multiple times throughout the year. This is his first year in the Xfinity Series. Coming from the trucks drive completely different. They have much more grip, much more locked into the racetrack. These cars slide around, very little grip, big transition. But he's figured it out. He's figured out what he needs, and they've had really good pace.
Well, he's not, you know, it might be new in the Xfinity Series, but 2 wins here in trucks. So, I mean, he knows how to get around this place. And his transition, I think, was made a little bit easier because of the crew chief. Andy Street on this 21 car has a lot of experience with Xfinity Series cars. I think that helps someone like Austin Hill just kind of relax a little bit and just drive them, and as their communication is improved over the course of the season. I mean, his plate racing is spectacular. Now, as we see the pace pick up at these downforce tracks, as now we see the 7 continuing to creep his way forward, a little Justin Allgaier fashion as you see the back of the car dance around.
Look at how much he's trying to cover the left front tire on that white line. Little bit of grip, little bit of stability, little bit of speed on the paint. We see that at a lot of racetracks where the driver tries to get the tire literally on top of that painted line because it adds and provides a little bit of grip when that tire's hot.
So Allgaier on the move. He's up to 4th now. Ty Gibbs led more laps already than he won here in March earlier. You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring. There's also in-car cameras and radio broadcasts. Just search NASCAR in your app store, and you can download and start a free trial today. Toyota onboards We're looking at that as the 39 of Ryan Sieg coming back to pit road, Dave.
Yeah, and I believe he's going to make the left-hand turn. There it is, Rick, into the garage area. He came down pit road with a steering issue. The steering was suddenly very sloppy, very loose. They looked under the hood, couldn't do anything there, and now they believe there might be a wheel loose, was what the crew chief said. I don't know if that's on the system or an actual wheel on the race car, but Ryan Sieg's going to take it to the garage for further service.
Be a frustrating day for the 39. You know, lots been made about steering on the new NASCAR Cup Series car, but these cars, these Xfinity Series cars, this is a system that's been run for years and years. So whether it's the steering box itself malfunctioning or something in the steering system, the result is the same, an undrivable car for the 39.
And the pace that Ty Gibbs is running around here, he continues to put cars a lap down, just put Stephen Parsons a lap down, and Stephen running in the 26th position. Right now, the top 8 drivers, all 8 playoff drivers. Gibbs, Hill, Gregson, Allgaier, Jones, Allmendinger, Mayer, and Berry, all in the top 8. When we talk about stage points and being so important, well, these are the best of the best fighting for all those stage points available at the end of this stage.
But this is what makes mistakes at the Xfinity Series going to be so crucial, because I expect to see all 8 run in the top 8 for every stage and every race from now until we see which 4 move on to Phoenix. So, you know, wins are the automatic berth. That's what is so valuable for these drivers. You look at the points on the bottom left. I mean, so close. And just not a lot of points to make up if everyone is running nose to tail, right? If the other drivers can't kind of get up inside that top 10 and separate you guys, just not a lot of room to make up this big gap.
Well, as you mentioned, it's a point per position, and between Allgaier and Hill, they're separated by 9 points. Well, there's not 9 spots that separate them on the racetrack, so there's no way to make up that type of distance when they're running all in the top 8. Marty.
A.J. Allmendinger started on the pole, about to drop back to 7th as Sam Mayer can complete this pass. So what's going on with the 16? Listen to the radio a moment ago.
No, we're losing speed because I'm plowing tight, man. Don't worry about what I'm doing on the racetrack. Like, we're like a 20 out of 10 tight. It's so unbelievable.
So, Steve, what do you have in the toolbox for a 20 out of 1 to 10 tight for A.J. Allmendinger?
Well, the first thing would be is an ice pack and cold water, because I need my driver to get back in the game. I hear you. I know it's tight, but a 20 out of 10 is just an exaggeration. That's not helping me where it's tight, where I need to make the car better. This is my concern for him, A.J. Allmendinger, coming into today. It's not speed. I mean, this guy runs well all the time. He has a bunch of wins this year. He has the points. It's the panic that kind of sets in. I know it becomes lighthearted when they recover, but in one of these races, they're not going to recover, and that panic on the radio just becomes unproductive as he is in 7th. Now, the guy could drive a race car, there's no doubt, but you can start to see that panic. And why? Because guys like Ty Gibbs are out here with a 4.5, almost 5-second lead, and AJ knows his car is not good enough to keep up.
Going to be the 7th stage win of the 2022 season for Ty Gibbs, and he'll win convincingly stage 1. As you mentioned, almost 5 seconds between Gibbs and Austin Hill in 2nd. Gregson, Allgaier, Jones, Mayer, Allmendinger.
Josh Berry was falling like a rock, and they all got stacked up off turn 2, and he got a spot back. Looked like he was going to finish 10th in this stage, got a spot back, and finished 9th.
Daniel Hemrick rounding out the top 10. So stage 1 is complete. A wild ride for Trevor Bayne, sideways through 1 and 2. He saved it. Ultimately, it's Gibbs leading 22 of those 45 laps to win stage 1. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. Northern Tool and Equipment. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Into stage 1, and stage points handed out to those finishing in the top 10. Take a look at who cashed in at the end of stage 1. Gibbs getting those 10 points. Josh Berry even collecting 2. And so all 8 of the playoff drivers able to capitalize, but this is interesting here for the 2 of Sheldon Creed. Parker.
Catch back up, come back down.
They were checking to see which cylinder might be the one that's missing, Rick, so they were under the hood for that with Sheldon Creed.
All right,
Parker?
Now let's get him Parker as the cars are coming to pit road.
Right, and Justin Allgaier is going to pit from the 4th position at the top of your screen. He came on the radio and said at lap 20, the front end just went numb, meaning it got very tight in that car and then lacked rear grip on the exit, so they can make major adjustments on this 7-car Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Middle of your screen, Austin Hill made it to 2nd position. Said it got a little bit loose when he was on the bottom, but he doesn't want it tightened up because he's able to wrap the bottom of the corner, especially in 1 and 2, Marty. He likes that.
Chris Gale told Ty Gibbs, he said, this is a lesson in never being complacent with a very good car. Clearly the dominant car in stage 1, but he said, I think the track is going to start changing as rubber lays down. It's going to continue to get tighter. So they made an adjustment on the 54, even though he was so good, a little bit too tight in the center, free off Gibbs. Also, the team delivering on pit road, they hold the lead, Rick.
Yeah, top 3 holding their positions with Gibbs, Hill, and Gregson. Jones gains a spot on pit road, as does Allmendinger. Tomorrow, right here on NBC, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Vegas. The first chance to clinch a spot in the Championship 4. That makes coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And you'll want to make sure to join us for Countdown to Green. Christopher Bell, who won his way into the round of 8, will join Dale Jr., Jeff Burton. And when in Vegas, we talk odds. And we'll be talking odds for the championship, as well as on the clock with former champs. Guys like Kevin Harvick, Mark Truex Jr., drivers that aren't a part of the championship now, but could definitely change how this playoff ends up the next 4 races. Parker.
How about the run for Raja Karuth here? Started 18th, drove to 14th by the end of the first stage, and then his team had a great stop, putting him in the top 10. I spoke to his team about him, and they said what's amazing about Raja is how quickly he learns in just his 5th Xfinity start. We're in the top 10, Dave.
Up and down day for Josh Berry, playoff driver. 2 playoff points, but then a bad pit stop. He'll start 16th, Marty.
Steve talked about how he would handle A.J. Allmendinger and how upset he was on the radio. Well, how did colleague team president Chris Rice handle that conversation? Listen in.
Hey, man, I know this sucks, and we suck. We suck, okay? I get it. But it's not going to do any good being mad and being frustrated. Maximize the day. We know that it sucks. We've been sucking all year, so it's not going to change today.
There you go, Steve. Team president trying to get his guy back in the game.
Stage 2 gets underway here in the Alsco Uniforms 302. And it's side by side for the lead as they dive into 1. And who's going to make it 3 wide? Noah Gregson's going to make it 3 wide for the lead as they come up 2.
It's going to work for him as well. He's going to be so close to clearing both of those guys into 3. Can't quite clear them. Whoa, way loose.
Big wiggle up high, but he stays in the gas. Noah Gragson charges ahead, and he leads at Vegas.
And look at Ty Gibbs. He got on the bottom, got loose, and look at all of them flying by him.
We saw the same thing on the very start of the race with Ty Gibbs losing positions down the back straightaway, loses them again. Got a fast car, just needs to buckle down here, calm down, regroup. You can drive right back by these guys.
Austin Hill using a little bit of that momentum in the 21, trying to get by the 7 of Allgaier.
John Hunter Nemechek in that black and white 26 car on the outside of Brandon Jones. He had good speed yesterday in practice, being really aggressive on this restart.
Oh man, the 7 slides right in front of the 2. Excuse me, the 21.
Yeah, he checked all those guys up, Steve, and 19 of Brandon Jones took advantage of it, and look what it's done. Look at the mess it's created.
How racy are we getting here in 3 and 4? It seems like they're getting very aggressive.
That was a big break. The 21 cut the 7 car on the back straightaway. Austin Hill lifted a little bit. Keep him wrecking. Justin Allgaier.
Brandon Jones holding on to that 2nd spot. Noah Gragson has a 2nd advantage over the field now.
Josh Berry started 16th, all the way back up to 8th place right now. See him in that 8 car on the bottom here in turns 3 and 4. Doing some good work on this restart.
Berry won here.
Contact right there with the 54, Rick, the 26, John Hunter Nemechek. Those 2 getting together off a corner. John Hunter's going to roll him tight here. Try to stay on that outside down the back straightaway. He's not able to do it.
But you said it, Ty Gibbs just needed to calm down, and he was going to be okay. He settled out in fourth. He's got good speed, but right now, all the competition saw that. They know twice on restarts he was not good. Look at this battle between these two guys. Nemechek just really loose. Awesome momentum. Gibbs underneath him.
Now the 54 to the inside of the 21. Gibbs trying to take third away from Austin Hill. 54 is fast. He slides up the track a little bit. Austin's going to have to check up.
Now he looks to the inside. So Austin Hill trying the crossover move here on the 54.
I think Ty Gibbs has a better race car. He can drive in the corner here. Just try to roll the middle a little bit quicker, just like that. Get on the outside of Austin Hill. Now Ty Gibbs has the advantage down the back straightaway. Look at the speed it builds running that top lane. Now he's going to go to the bottom, take the air away from Austin Hill, and look at the gain it gives him. Austin Hill loses grip. As soon as the 54 of Gibbs goes to the bottom, it takes away the air. So, Steve, right now, if you're the crew chief of the 54 car, you've seen twice it does not take off well on restart. So what do you do about that late in the race?
Well, the concern is that it doesn't take off. The good news is in the Xfinity Series, rarely do we have late restarts on new tires. Normally it's on old tires. So I'm waiting to see a caution and see how it fires off on hot scuffs to see if it's an issue. If, you definitely hedge the balance one way as we see two Junior Motorsports cars, the 7 and the 1, battle side by side. But that's one advantage, is he does recover quickly. And I'd be asking my driver, is it something you need in the car, or is there something he just feels he needs to do different behind the wheel? But it is definitely costing the 54 to have to recover after every restart.
Third Junior Motorsports car just behind them in the 8 of Josh Berry.
Yeah, they're all stacked up, all lined up right here behind John Hunter Nemechek.
Running 6th, 7th, and 8th. John Hunter Nemechek up there in the 5th position.
Austin Hill in 4th. His teammate, the 2, Sheldon Creed, we saw him on pit road with the hood up. Well, they had to go behind pit wall. So whatever the engine issue was for the 2.
They think it's a valve spring, Steve.
Oh, there you go. A valve spring, Dave said. So that, they might be able to unhook like a rocker arm, come back out and run laps, or they might just call it a day. Either way, they'll be out of contention for any sort of good finish today.
John Hunter Nemechek right here. You see, last few laps, his car has gotten away from him, and they've just rolled around him on the outside. Now he's way up the racetrack trying something different. And Kyle Busch made his decision to leave Toyota and go drive Chevrolets. What did that do to John Hunter Nemechek in his future? He drives for him in the Truck Series. Don't know that yet. Hearing a lot of rumors, but be interesting to see what John Hunter Nemechek is going to do next year.
Look at that run off the top. I mean, you watch the 16. We're on board with Allmendinger. He drove way down in the corner farther than the 26. But you see how the top works. We're going to watch it again. On board with AJ. You think, oh, I don't see the 26 out the right side. I must be going by him. I must be clear. Not so fast. There he is. He's going to reappear in the camera, and you see the speed. That's not more motor. That's back to the throttle early to run the top. He lifted early right here.
And the problem, Steve, is that you see how much the top has to give up on entry? That's quite a bit to be able to make the momentum off the corner down the straightaway. You'd like to not have to give up so much lifting off throttle when running the top.
But do you expect that to get better as tires age? We're only 18 laps into the run, 28 to go in this stage. Is that entry speed something that will get better versus the bottom as you get on older tires?
Yeah, you would hope so. Right now, the 26 is making that work up there. He's ran these two JR Motorsports cars down. He's going to have a huge run off turn 2 right here on the 1 of Sam Mayer. Sam's going to be smart, understands he's got too big a run to block it. Man, when that guy on the top is coming that fast and you pull in front of him, you're asking for it, and you deserve it. Get popped in the back there.
Ahead of this battle, that 8 car of Josh Berry, he had fallen all the way back to 16th, and he's now driven all the way to 6th. So a good recovery after that on that restart.
Josh Berry continuing to post one of the top fastest, or 5 fastest times here at Vegas, and Gibbs still setting the pace. He's been running the fastest laps, Marty.
Hey, Rick, let's jump back to that conversation the guys were having a moment ago, the restart for Ty Gibbs, and this actually goes back a week or so. Jeff, I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about this. Chris Gale had a conversation after the Roval with Ty Gibbs. He had 3 late restarts with A.J. Allmendinger. In one of those restarts, he gave up the lead, and in Chris Gale's estimation, drove him too clean, didn't run him as hard as he possibly could. Gale's message was, listen, it's time no longer for friends. It is time for you to take everything you can get. But I can't imagine for a young 20-year-old driver, Jeff, Ty Gibbs spent a lot of the year with the media, everyone in the garage area on his back about being way too aggressive. He backed that off. Now he needs to refine that edge if he wants to go out and win a championship. How hard is that?
Marty, that is a delicate balance, and Chris Gale, the crew chief, he and Ty have a really good relationship. Chris is very honest with Ty, lets him know when he thinks he's not doing what he needs to be doing, and there's times that Chris Gale has said, hey, the aggression level is too high. You got to find a time to turn that aggression level on. You got to find a time to turn it off. And now Chris Gale is saying, this is it. This is it. Go be you. You got to make some people mad. Go make them mad. We're going to try to win a championship.
And Ty Gibbs, one of the younger drivers, a part of the championship. Sam Mayer, just 19 years old. Ty Gibbs, a year older, all the way up to A.J. Allmendinger, the veteran, at 40 years old. So a wide variety of ages for these round of 8 drivers.
That is a balance, man, of being able to go out there, race with your competitors all year long, be able to get along, see eye to eye, work together, give and take. But then in those moments where you got to use them up, be able to get out of the car and say, hey, man, there's a lot on the line right here. Dad was always, I thought, really good at that. Put a guy in the fence and then put his arm around him and tell him why you had to do that.
Well, tell him it was his fault. Not like, hey, I wrecked you, but you did this wrong, so that's why you wrecked. He was really good at that. And you believed him. That's what I didn't think.
Yeah. And the name Intimidator was perfect, by the way.
Dave, what do you have on Brandon Jones?
Trying to shake off the pressure from the car behind him right now, but setting up for a really nice weekend here after a strong run at Kansas. That's what Jeff Meendering, the crew chief, told me helped them get to the right setup for this. Earlier this year here at Las Vegas, that setup no longer valid. What they did at Kansas, pole and a 4th place finish, told them what they needed to do here this weekend. And Meendering told me, he said, we come into this playoffs 22 points this round below the cut line. We've got nothing to lose. Watch us go.
And that's a guy, too, that I think he can come in here and do well here, one at Martinsville. So, I mean, this is a good round for this driver. But I'd also talk to Jones and say, maybe sometimes you can be a little more aggressive. He runs everybody with so much respect. I think he, at sometimes could lean on these guys a little bit. Take what's his, just take it away and take advantage of some guys on restarts and so forth as we get down late in the season here to try to win this championship. He can be there in Phoenix with a shot at it.
Gregson, 2.8 second lead right now over Brandon Jones in the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs on NBC. The Alsco Uniforms 302.
Our internet isn't ideal.
My dad made the brilliant move to get us T-Mobile home internet.
Oh.
We have to share our signal with the entire neighborhood.
Yeah, now we do some weird things to get our speeds.
Well, I'm up.
Come on, kids.
This sucks.
Well, if you just switch, maybe you don't have to be there.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay. Yikes.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't thinking.
We don't really use the V word.
Kind of insensitive.
Yeah.
We prefer pro-lunar.
Yes, much better.
With Sonic's 2 for $5 menu, you get 2 delicious things for only $5. How will you know which 2 to choose? Don't ask us. That's a rhetorical question. And everyone knows 2 for $5 is better than 1. Which is helpful if you struggle with decision making. The Sonic 2 for $5 menu.
Sonic. Beautiful day in Baltimore, where most people probably know that Geico could save them money on car insurance, right? You see, the thing is, Geico, well, could help them save on boat insurance too. Oi! Okay, I'm ready to come in now. Hello?
I'm trying my best.
Seriously, I'm serious. Request to come ashore.
Geico. Saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Toyota, let's go places.
The grandfather clock is counting down to more than just a winner.
Green, 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 rolling fine, rolling fine, rolling fine.
It's the final chance for a driver to make it to the championship 4. And for a fan to catch all the drama.
Oh, he hits Hamlin! Danny Hamlin spins!
At the short track in NASCAR.
I know you're working in here, but we got to do whatever we need to get by.
It all comes down to Martinsville. And the whole family's invited.
Oh, yeah, boy!
Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all of your favorite tracks. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free, and you can start using it today. Parker.
Oh, Rick, I want to talk about a couple of young drivers with great runs here. First and foremost, Nick Sanchez, this year's ARCA champ here, just making his 5th start in the Xfinity Series. Started 22nd in this race, has driven all the way up to 14th, and only just saying that car is just a little loose on the X of the corners, but a great run for Nick Sanchez in that Big Machine Racing number 48. And then a couple positions behind him is Haley Deegan, this 07 car, making her first start in the Xfinity Series. Had a long chat with her this morning about her goals and how she would approach this. She said, I want to stay on the lead lap in stage 1 and then really start to figure this car out in stage 2 and move forward. She's done just that, and I think personally she's done a great job this whole weekend. Right off the truck, was right outside the top 15 in speeds in practice, had a great qualifying lap, and now her goal was coming in this race to get into the top 15, and she's running just outside that in 16th. Great job for her, Dave.
And Parker running just a couple of positions ahead of her is Las Vegas native Riley Herbst. He was hoping for a great homecoming after being out of the playoffs, failing to advance last week, needed some home comfort. But on the way out to this track, his hauler went off the road in Arizona. Some passers-by took this video, seeing the 98 hauler clearly off the road and damaged. In fact, they had to call friends in the shipping business to get another tractor to tow that rig to the track. And then they had to get NASCAR's help. They said, hey, can we have a spot in the garage where we can work on our tractor away from the other haulers? And there is that teal tractor that towed them here. Thankfully, both drivers of the tractor trailer were not seriously injured. One was taken to the hospital, Gary Lauder. He was released yesterday afternoon. Gary, get well soon. And the hauler got here. The car's inside, not significantly damaged, although NASCAR gave them an extra 6 hours yesterday just to make sure everything was right. And now Riley has driven the car up to the 13th position. Thanks to Resorts World as for these on-board shots as well. You got to have friends at racing, and Riley Herbst found out again this weekend. He certainly does.
Riley Herbst from right here in Las Vegas. Matter of fact, family very famous for racing. His father Troy, grandfather Jerry, second uncles Ed and Tim. They're all members of the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame for off-road racing. So Riley Herbst comes from a long line of racers.
Riley was doing a great job last week trying to advance himself to the next round of the playoffs. Had a lot of bad luck at the end of that race. A nice job driving up through the field, as Dave spoke about.
Had to get way out of gas there.
It's getting that time of the run. 30 green flag laps on these tires, 9 laps to go in this stage. Slipping and sliding, trying to find every little spot on this racetrack. You see a big correction on the wheel right there. That happens every lap. You see, I mean, I love this shot looking back at the driver. It shows you that they are doing, this is not a Sunday drive. These guys are out here. They make it look simple sometimes from outside the race car, but looking inside the race car, you watch just how much he saws this wheel car, a little tight right there in the middle, it looks like. Picks up the gas. Pretty secure on Exeter turns 1 and 2.
Just 8 laps now, 7 to go in stage 2. This race flying by. Only one caution As we see Yaley slow on the racetrack, but only one caution, and it was for the end of stage 1.
Don't see anything too severe on the right side of this car, so I don't know if he has a mechanical issue. Well, some damage on the tail. He might have made contact with the wall at some point.
Down to the apron, J.J. Yaley goes, and we'll bring that to the attention of his crew.
You got voltage and all that, JJ?
Conversation about
everything.
voltage.
I shut it off. I got it running again, but
Sounds like a little bit of a diagnosis of an engine issue on the 66. Now 6 to go in this stage.
oil pressure, water pressure, not so much.
And we still haven't seen anybody go to the top and make that work long term. Guys go up to the top of the racetrack and find a little speed, but I think they actually cook the right front tire or the right rear tire and lose that speed. That top feels so good, they really push the car to the limit up there, and then they lose the advantage that they have by running there. It seems there's not a lot of rubber getting put down, and that the grip is really more determined by tire temperature. And so if you can go up to the top, maybe don't get everything that's there. Maybe try to take care of that tire a little bit more. You might have a little bit more of a longer run of productivity up there, as we've got a battle for second here between Jones and Gibbs coming down the last few laps of stage 2. Jones really would love to have that position in that playoff point, or that stage point. Parker.
And yeah, when you were talking about this tire and how it's just not laying that rubber and it's more temperature dependent, that is something a lot of these teams noticed back in the spring here, where they felt like even though it was super cold in that race, it wasn't laying any rubber, and that rubber was turning almost to a fine dust. And normally when that rubber lays down, that's what forces you to move up to the top. So it's just not coming in. And I think there's a lot of teams that were looking for that top to come in. They were looking for ways to maximize the car and the speed up there, and it just hasn't materialized the way they'd hoped.
So when you go up there, you were going to fly that first lap. You're going to love it. It's going to feel great. And you're going to drive the car up to the limit of the grip there. But after a few laps, that temperature is going to rocket up, running the high line, and you're going to drop in grip. So when you go up there, you got to be a little more conservative and not take everything it gives you, so that you can keep the temp out of the tire and keep the lap time quick.
See Trevor Bain in 9th place. We saw Trevor early in the race really falling back, qualified well, but early in the race extremely loose. They've made that car better. He's picked up 6 spots since the restart, so working himself back into contention.
I want to take a look at the Toyota driver update here. Is Trevor Bain, you mentioned, running as high as 2nd, currently inside the top 10 now in that 9th position. Just under 2 laps remaining. And we mentioned how Trevor Bain could be one of those spoilers, taking not only stage points but the possibility of a win, as we see Allmendinger running a little bit higher and now down to the bottom of the racetrack as we're on the final lap here in stage 2. Marty.
Boy, riding on board, you can see how much A.J. Allmendinger has his hands full. So, Rick, I know you've been wanting the update on how the handling is going. They talked to A.J. about trying a bunch of different lines here on the final lap of stage 2. He said, I've tried them all. We're terrible in all of them. Right now, the lowest running playoff driver, A.J. Allmendinger, in 10th.
Yeah, frustrations for the 16, but not a problem for Gragson, as he will win his 14th stage of the year. That's the most of any drivers. And so Noah Gragson grabs stage 2. Gibbs, Jones, Austin Hill, Allgaier, all finishing in the top 5. And it's Josh Berry, Sam Mayer, Daniel Hemrick, Trevor Bain there, and A.J. Allmendinger rounding out the top 10. Gragson trying to continue his winning ways. Noah Gragson already 7 wins on the season, and looking for number 8 here in Vegas. 1 stage remains. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Credit One Bank, a credit card company. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Take a look at stage points earned today. Gibbs with a 1st and 2nd place finish has acquired the most, and Gregson at 18 as pit stops are underway. Parker?
Right, Rick, for Justin Allgaier, he scored the 5th most points here in the stages, and he came on the radio to Jason Burdett and said, I don't know what to tell you. I just cannot get this car to cut through the center. It fires off great, but I just don't keep that speed through the run. 4 tires for him, Dave.
Brandon Jones pretty happy with his car. 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. Stayed tight the whole time, but not too tight. Air pressure adjustment here, Marty.
Ty Gibbs told Chris Gale, we are good at the end of the run, just way too loose to start the run, so a small air pressure adjustment to tighten them up. Noah Gregson said, we're better, but I lose the front so quickly, and I can't run the top like I would like. But how about that stop by the RCR bunch? On Sundays, they pit Tyler Reddick. Today, they're pitting Austin Hill. They gained 3 spots on pit road.
And won the race off of pit road. Jones grabbed a spot as well. Gregson losing 2 spots. Gibbs lost 3 on pit road. Just 1 stage remains from Las Vegas, as this is the first race of the round of 8, the first opportunity for a driver to lock themselves into the championship 4. Let's take a look at today's race recap built by Northern Tool and Equipment. And early on, Trevor Bayne in the 18. What a save!
I don't know how he saved that race car, but he did.
You see Ryan Sieg, they open the hood, ends up being a steering issue on this 39 car. He's forced to go to the garage.
Sheldon Creed with an issue as well with the motor. They went to work trying to figure out what the problem with that car is.
Bill Gregson making it 3 wide on a restart, taking control of this race.
Well, once he took control, Noah Gregson successful.
Now we got a interesting front row. Austin Hill and Jones up front with Gregson, Allgaier, Gibbs.
Well, a couple other penalties. The 18 car had a safety violation, which basically means a crew member entered the pitting area. So we see right here, we see the pit stop. Everything looks normal at the moment. I'm sure it's going to happen when the tires go over to the left side. That's normally what happens, and there you have it. The man reaches over. They don't touch. Not a touch foul if your hand goes, but when the guy goes all the way over, when his foot touches the ground, that's where it happens.
Back underway with racing as the third and final stage is underway. Brandon Jones out front now as Austin Hill not in the gas as quick.
Gregson a little bit up the racetrack there is going to be battling his teammate, the 7 of Allgaier now. Gibbs to the inside for second place on Austin Hill. Berry to the outside of Gibbs now for third. They'll have the momentum down the front straightaway.
Nowhere to go, though, as he's right behind the 21 of Austin Hill.
Yeah, Austin Hill, he tried to jump on the outside of Austin Hill. Austin Hill blocked that move.
Berry's car's been really, really good on the first few laps of a restart. He's trying to make a lot of room here. He's got to run down the back straightaway on Hill for second.
Again, Ty Gibbs having trouble. He's losing spots on this restart. You saw how loose he was.
And we saw the back end moving around on the 54 of Ty Gibbs, as now we see Berry make the move to the outside of Hill, and he's going to try to take second away.
That was an aggressive move right there by Berry. In the throttle hard.
Running that middle line, and it's working, so that's why Noah Gregson saw it and decided to go right there with him. Gregson gets by Hill as well now.
Hill's pretty frustrated at the moment, had the lead on the start of the restart of this race, and now back and forth.
He was really fast in stage 1. Stage 2, they started falling back a little bit. This track's going away from him somewhat. He's got a fast number 54, Ty Gibbs, right behind him, going to try to take another position away. They're almost 3 wide off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Justin Allgaier in the orange car on the very inside. He's going to take both of those spots.
Allgaier makes his way up to the 4th position now. Gibbs and Hill fighting for that 5th spot.
Gibbs is loose. On the start, on these restarts, he's loose. And being on the inside of that 21 is not helping his car. Austin Hill is pulling the air off that spoiler. Now he just drives in the corner and takes the spot.
Allmendinger, we're riding along in Nutrient Ag Solutions on board as we see that side-by-side battle, and then moving up to the front, Josh Berry, here he comes.
He's found some speed up in the high side of this racetrack, which is a little surprising right now as he drives around the outside of Jones, easily taking the lead away. Again, this 8 car very fast on restarts. The problem for them has been on the long run, around 40 laps in, they lose that edge, if not slow down a little bit to some of these other guys like Gregson and Gibbs.
So as a driver, knowing that, I just ran exceptionally hard. I got the lead. Now I need to go in a little bit of conserve mode. I don't have to run, you know, at 100%. Go find 90%. Try to do everything you can to keep Noah behind you, but save a little tire right here. If I'm struggling at the end of runs, it's my job at this moment to save a little bit. You only got to lead by car length. It doesn't have to be 7 or 8, 9, 10. Try to save a little bit of tire.
Battle right here between Gibbs and Allgaier for 4th place down the back straightaway. Allgaier took this position away from Gibbs when he was fighting on the inside of Austin Hill. He's going to try to take it back now. But again, on that inside, having a little tough time trying to find the grip for this 54 car. I believe he's clear right here, but here comes a 7 back on the outside. Allgaier's going to keep the spot off into turn 1. Marty, what you got on this 54 car?
Boy, same song, third verse for Ty Gibbs. We've seen him be so free. We've heard him talk about being so free on these restarts as he tries to get back by Justin Allgaier. But Steve, what they're saying is they're so good at the end of the run. So is it almost like you sacrifice a little bit of speed at the front end because you want to be quick on the back end? And is that worth it?
Well, it's worth it if this thing runs 98 laps to go green. But the problem is it takes him the entire, at least what the first and second stage was, 40 or 41 laps to kind of recoup, to get back. And in that second stage, he was never able to do it. He lost control of the 9 of Gregson. He only got back to second. So I understand that the car is the best at the end of the run, but it might be taking a little too long. Jeff asked that same question earlier, and Jeff, to your point, I thought he was going to be okay because we don't see a lot of restarts on cold tires, but it seems like the problem is getting worse for the 54.
Right here, another battle for the lead developing with the 9 of Gregson running down Josh Berry. Josh running the high side in 3 and 4 early in this run. That's not a great sign for the balance of that race car. Been running the bottom of 1 and 2 down here. But to have to see that car already searching for speed in turns 3 and 4 with the lead of the race is a sign of trouble with the balance, Dave.
See him running the high side now. Josh has radioed to his crew that he feels like it's a little slower on the top than the bottom, but he doesn't want to give Noah that line right now. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses. And is this the driver that we saw yesterday in qualifying, not qualify well, back in 12th, and then assuring Parker on USA Network, no big deal? I think so. I think it's because Josh knew what he wanted for today, and it's showing in how he's running up front.
What is it about ovals that Junior Motorsports has figured out? Because right now you've got Berry, Gregson, Allgaier, all up here in the top 5.
Well, it just shows that they have very solid equipment. You know, we go to a lot of tracks where it takes a balance of handling and driver ability and a bunch of different things. But when you come to the 1.5 miles, when you come to the 2-mile tracks, there is such a dependency on horsepower and downforce. If you make a lot of downforce and good horsepower, you should have a chance to make all of your drivers pretty happy, and that's what Junior Motorsports done. It's not just the 3 wins. Look at this top 10s. 21 top 10s and 29 starts. That tells me that all 4 teams have found a way to apply. I'm sure it's even different setups, but they've found a way to kind of get the balance how Josh Berry wants it or how Noah wants it. And it's hard to believe we continue to say it, but on the left side, you could see kind of the bluish line underneath the names. That's because the top 8, all playoff drivers, once again, stacked at the front of the field.
We're going to go with purple for that color.
All right. I'll give you purple.
I'm really surprised by the line that he's running right there at the top of the racetrack. You remember Berry won here last year, and he told me I'm going to do it on the bottom, and he did. I tried to tell him how to run that high line. It might come in handy at this particular racetrack, and he wanted nothing to do with it. Won the race running the bottom, but feels like, I guess, right now, to make the most speed, he likes that high line down in 3 and 4. We'll see if that pays off on the long run.
You saw Trevor Bayne in this last caution. He was penalized. Well, he is flying through the field. He is just past John Hunter Nemechek for 12th. So great job of regaining that track position. Still some work to do, but Trevor Bayne penalized up to 12th. Also, Daniel Hemrick was penalized at the same time, and he's gotten himself up to 15th.
Well, you see right below Trevor Bayne's name on the left, Daniel Hemrick, right? Jeff, same issue on the 11. He's also making a nice charge back up through the field.
Both penalized under the most recent caution. So Barry running right up against the wall. Gregson on the white line. Those are 1 and 2 here at Vegas. 91 laps to go.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
Our internet isn't ideal.
My dad made the brilliant move to get us T-Mobile home internet.
Oh.
We have to share our signal with the entire neighborhood.
Yeah, now we do some weird things to get our speeds.
Well, I'm up.
Come on, kids.
This sucks.
Well, if you just switch, maybe you don't have to be there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yikes.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't thinking.
We don't really use the V word.
Kind of insensitive.
We prefer pro-lunar.
Yes. Much better.
You see, son, with a little elbow grease, you can do just about anything.
Thanks, Dad.
That's right, Robert. And it's never too early to learn you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
That's right, Jamie. But it's not just about savings. It's about the friends we make along the way.
You said it, Flo. And don't forget to floss before you brush. Your gums will thank you.
That's right, Dr. Gary.
Jamie?
Sorry, I had another thought, so I got back in line.
What was it?
I can't remember.
Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas. Whatever got you this far wasn't luck. It was work, struggle, sacrifice, ambition that burned like pure fire.
Oh, the wall he goes! Oh, he got spanned to 24!
So what do you say, fellas? Like your odds?
Oh, my God!
The NASCAR playoffs continue at Las Vegas on NBC.
For the first time, NASCAR fans can view every lap of NASCAR Cup Series races from inside the cockpit of any car they choose. Just visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app. All right, guys, want to take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage keys to victory lane.
Well, when you make your last stop, you have a couple sets of tires in the pits, but if this thing runs green, you're going to have to stop once for fuel. I think they're going to kind of do it in the middle of this stage. We'll have to wait and see.
And then who kept up with the racetrack? We've seen some guys like the Gibbs boys winning in stage 1 and then JRM in stage 2. Who's going to be fast here at the end when it matters?
Who can find the winning groove early in this race? It seemed like the bottom was the way to go. Now people are running the top. Where is it going to change? What lane do you need to be in late in the race when it's winning time?
Want to go through the field? We'll start with Dave.
Rick, the winner of this race last year, is the leader of this race this year. If Josh Berry can take it to the end today, he will automatically clinch a spot in the Championship 4. And that'd be quite something for the 31-year-old. Remember, his career started when he met Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing on iRacing, Marty.
His teammate Noah Gregson right behind him, trying to get his first ever hometown win. Finished second here in the spring as well. But the car he's driving today won Kansas just a few weeks ago. Told his team a moment ago, I'm really free on the exit of 4. That's hurting me in trying to catch the 8. Right behind him, Ty Gibbs wants to sweep the Vegas year here. He won here in the spring and back in March. Chris Gale a moment ago said, I realize, Bud, we're going to have to take a decent swing at it on this stop, which should be coming up, as Steve mentioned, about halfway through this stage, because the car has been way too free to start runs, Dave.
Brandon Jones doesn't look like, according to his crew chief, that he'll be able to point his way to the championship round in Phoenix, so he's looking for the win. Right now, the car is not there for him. It's just a little bit too tight, Parker.
And Dave, for Justin Allgaier, we've seen how the 54 of Ty Gibbs has been really struggling on the restarts. The exact opposite for the 7 here. He's firing off great, but it's from lap 10 to around 25. He just has a lull inside that race car. Can't get to do what he wants. But from this point on, about lap 25 of the run till the end of the run, that's where it starts to come online. We're starting to see him pick off some of the fastest lap times on the racetrack as that car comes to him, Marty.
A.J. Allmendinger in 6th right now. Just checked in with Chris Rice. He said Dinger has not said a word on the radio, but had complained about the car being tight all day long. He is the perfect example of how brutal these playoffs can be. Came in with all this momentum, won the last 2 races, brought a brand new car to Vegas today, had high hopes, and they have not run the way they thought. In fact, right now, as the playoff sits, A.J. Allmendinger, the regular season champ, would just be +2 above the cut line heading to Miami. Dave?
Marty, restarts can be brutal. Remember, Austin Hill was on the front row as the race resumed. He has fallen back all the way to the 7th position. Car did not fire off well. Took about 12 laps before it finally came to him, Marty.
Solid run for Landon Castle today, who's had a good run of late, period. Back-to-back top 10 finishes this year. Finished 6th here in March as well. His car actually the opposite of his teammates. A little bit too free for Landon Castle, but been inside the top 10 all day, Dave.
Hometown boy Riley Herbst started 36, has been consistent all day, has not put a wheel wrong. He now runs 9th. He'd like to be the driver no longer in the playoffs to upset the playoff drivers and win here at home. Parker?
Well, Dave, the driver catching him right behind him is that 18 of Trevor Bayne. My pick to win in our pre-race show earlier today. We saw the huge slide he had at the beginning, and really that started a trend through this day where the right rear is loading too early on entry, just making it too loose. They've worked on all day. They got themselves in the top 10. They had that safety violation. He went to the back, and since then he's been driving angry, frustrated, and it's showing on the racetrack. He's one of the fastest cars right now. Behind him, the one of Sam Mayer, and it's been very simple for the one car. Loose all day long, not able to get that right rear in the racetrack. He's been trying to wrap the bottom and put that left front on the white line. That's where he's found the most grip. You see it right there through 1 and 2, but he can't seem to get the rear into the racetrack right now, struggling in 11th place.
Great job, guys, getting us through the top 11 there, and that's where all of the playoff drivers are running.
Big move for the lead. The 9 of Noah Gregson's going to turn to the left of the 8 of Josh Berry. He had been working the top of 1 and 2, found a little bit of speed there. Now the 8's at the top. Is he going to slide him very close between teammates?
The 9 slid up the racetrack, and it looked as though he was going to be in front of the 8, but not able to complete the pass. And now Berry pulls away to almost 3 car lengths.
Yeah, it was like Berry had an issue off turn 4 the lap before that he had to get out of the gas. Let's take a look. Here's the run off of turn 2 to be able to make the pass. He's got such a huge run. Noah kind of knows it, gives him a little bit of room.
And Josh lifted right there. If Josh hadn't lifted, they could have both wrecked. At the very least, the 9 would have wrecked, and Josh cut him a little bit of slack, and then smartly, Noah knew he had put him in a bad spot and then turned to the left and opened the outside up for him. Smart racing right there. Maybe on the last lap you don't give as much consideration, but right here it was still 76 laps to go. Smart racing by him.
We're going to try to put a little telemetry up here so we can see how these guys use the throttle running this high line. Is that they're kind of in and out of the throttle right there. This is Josh Berry. This is full throttle here, off the gas, into the corner completely. A little bit of brake, slides up, back to throttle. Watch that throttle right there. Full throttle all the way off the corner. But as he went to the gas, it was very moderate and very smooth. So watch what he does down here in turn 1 and 2. Back off the gas, into the brake a little bit to keep the car from hitting the fence. Back to full throttle. And you kind of sling this car or whip this car down the straightaway. You build up so much momentum off of the top of the racetrack. Man, he's moving around. Slide in that car into the corner.
Does my heart good to see him using the brake. I hear so many teams telling their drivers, don't touch the brake, don't touch the brake. Well, the brake can do a tremendous amount to help make the car drive a certain way. That's a tool a driver can use, and if you don't use it, you're giving up an opportunity for some speed to get your car to drive the way it needs to drive and put it in the position where you want to put it, Marty.
Very calmly on the radio, Luke Lambert, the crew chief for Noah Gragson, said, don't worry, you're better. Jeff, I have a simple question for you. It's out 5 to go. Does Noah Gragson lift there and move away for his teammate, or does he say, make your way around me somewhere else?
No lifting with 5 to go.
But 72 to go, maybe a little different story. 72 laps remaining as Barry out front. Noah Gragson chasing him in second.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. That's what you do.
Shh, I'm being quiet. Breathing on me.
If you want to save even more, you bundle your home and car insurance with Geico. It's what you do.
You spend the day watching your kids' big game. At least one of you is having fun. And Chop House Aioli is calling your name. You want crispy onion strings and a brioche bun. Everything's better with melted cheese. Kevin's dad doesn't understand boundaries. The Sonic Chop House cheeseburger.
Sonic.
At Safelite, we take care of vehicles with the latest technology. When my last customer discovered a crack in his car's windshield, he scheduled at Safelite.com. Safelite makes it easy. We're the experts at replacing your glass and recalibrating your advanced safety system.
And they recycled my old glass. Now that's a company I can trust.
Don't wait, schedule today.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
There are just two ways through the playoffs. The first one, elimination. But by the looks of these 12 drivers, it's safe to say that isn't an option. Now the second one is to win the whole thing and forever be called a champion. Thing is, there's only room for one. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. I am NASCAR.
Noah Gragson up front in Vegas now, as Gragson already has led 62 laps today. Josh Berry was out front for 31 laps. And here's a look at how he did it. Junior, what do they call this again?
So the 9 car gets the inside of turn 3 and 4. The 8 comes off the throttle right there. Thinks he's going to hit the wall. So now they're side by side. It's a drag race down into turn 1, Jeff. And the 9 car is in position for what we call a slide job. You never thought you'd see those on an asphalt oval, did you?
I did not. This is first time I really saw it was at Bristol. When Bristol ran, they just had to run the top. The only way to pass was to do that. Marty, what do you have on Noah?
Well, I'll go back to what we said in Through the Field, Jeff. Noah said very early in this run, we're way too free, especially on the exit of 4. So you got to wonder if he has a little bit of what Ty Gibbs has had going on all day long. The longer they run, the better the 9 car gets. So Steve, also pit stops should be getting closer to that. What do you think? 10, 15 laps before all these guys would come down pit road?
Yeah, that's what I have. About 11 or 12 laps. I figure they're going to pit with about 50, 52 laps on their tires and about 52 laps left to go in the race. That's where the math would say it's the best. But there will be an advantage to coming early. You know, new tires have more speed. I mean, we see it well over a second and a half, almost 2 seconds of fall off. You know, newer tires, you can make up almost 2 seconds a lap. So you see on the left how Josh Berry is 1.4 seconds back. If he could come, say, 1 lap before Noah Gragson, that may be enough to cycle in front of him.
And then your hope is that you have enough speed in the car to keep it there.
Exactly.
And that lap or 2 difference should not be a big deal. You know, it's when it's 4 or 5, even 10 laps difference, that's hard to overcome for a driver who's out there on the older tire.
We have to remember, too, that these pit crews aren't used to green flag pit stops in the Xfinity Series. There aren't very many of them. And a year ago it was this way, and it looks like it might be that same way again this year. But some of these crews that are pit crews for Sunday, they're used to hitting 1 lug nut. The one lug that takes the wheel off on Sundays, well, you've got 5 here in the Xfinity Series per wheel, so it's a different timing.
Trevor Bayne in that 18 car, we spoke about him earlier. He now is in 7th place, so long way to go if he's going to get to the leaders. He is going to need a caution, but this car right here and this driver, they have a shot. If they get the caution at the right time, they are exceptionally fast. I mean, he consistently is top 2, top 3 speeds. Austin Hill hitting pit road.
Early, Steve?
Yeah, this is earlier than I thought. I mean, this is a solid 8 or 9 laps earlier than I thought, but maybe this is the 21 strategy call, Dave, to try to gain a little track position, get an advantage.
They should be able to make it from here, Steve, but the driver needs to keep his head in the game. We mentioned this is the only rookie still going actually in the playoffs this year for the Xfinity Series. So he's going to get an adjustment here. He feels like, quote, we got ourselves screwed up running the top. It's now plowing tight. So he's going to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, an adjustment, and Sunoco fuel to get him to the end. But Austin Hill needs to be all of his 28 years worth of wisdom and get this car safely to the end and quickly.
Will that bring others? Will we see Austin Hill start pulling some of the other drivers to pit road?
I think it's too early. I don't believe you're going to see any of the other leaders come to pit road yet. I think Gregson's only really concerned about Josh Berry when you look at the gap on the racetrack. The guys around Austin Hill are going to lose a little bit of time to him, but like Dale was saying about how hoping your car is good enough to keep the advantage, I think this is going to be such a big gap. I'm not sure if he'll be able to hold it off. Now the 18 says, hey, I like that idea. I'm going to follow the 21 down pit road. I had that penalty. I've been trying to drive up through the field, so I'm going to get aggressive on the strategy now to see if that works, Parker.
Right, Steve. He's been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack the last couple laps, but exactly what you saw there. The second the 21 hit pit road, they told Trevor, pit this lap. It'll be 4 Goodyear tires and an air pressure adjustment for Trevor Bayne, who's flown all the way from the back of the field in the top 10 and just outside the top 5. We'll see how this plays through the cycle for them.
Now here comes A.J. Allmendinger. He was running in the 6th position. Now this will start to kind of move forward. Now the wave, I think, will go from 6 towards the leader as they come. The guys that can see these other cars out the mirror are going to want to come as well. You see Castle on pit road as well on the graphic.
Marty.
A little bit better for A.J. Allmendinger, Rick. Finally said the car's tight landing and tight on throttle as well. On their last stop, they did 3 rounds of wedge. Should be much fewer adjustments here on the 16. But Steve, you're exactly right. A lot of spotters talking about multiple cars coming on the next lap, Dave.
His teammate Daniel Hemrick is on pit road. He radioed the crew for the first time, hey, we're loose. So that tight race car all day, they finally got over the other edge. They'll take it back just a little bit the other way. As you see the leader of the race, Noah Gragson, coming to pit road. Parker.
Also on pit road is the one at Sam Mayer, who was the lowest placed playoff driver as these green flag stop cycle started there. Just too tight through the center and far too tight to run the high side for the one at Sam Mayer, as you see getting out of his stop, Marty.
Noah Gragson, the leader, coming down pit road right now. He talked about how good the car was at the end of that run right there. So Luke Lambert saying we feel like we need to make a little bit of an adjustment. That the track is still going through a transition. Those 4 fresh Goodyears, though, that'll be the biggest adjustment. They have been a massive difference time-wise, Dave.
Brandon Jones on pit road for 4 tires and fuel. They'll try to fill it all the way up, make sure that Toyota can get to the end with 57 to go here in Las Vegas, Marty.
Ty Gibbs coming down pit road was running 3rd when he came for much of that run, we should say. He said the balance is just not that bad. They just can't fire off like he would like to. A little bit too tight in the center the longer the run goes, but pretty happy with it overall. Now let's see if the 54 can gain him a little time, the pit crew wise here on pit road, Parker.
And also on pit road is the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Exact opposite problem. Fires off great, just has that lull through the center portion of the run where he just doesn't quite have the speed, and they had a lot of speed towards the end of that run. We're clicking off top 5 lap times, lap after lap. It was 4 Goodyear tires for Justin Allgaier. We'll see where he rejoins.
54 did a nice job through that entire cycle. The lap before they came to pit road, he had passed the 8 of Josh Berry for second. So we'll see where it cycles all out. You see on the upper right kind of the graphic of the track, the 9 car already in the middle of the back straightaway. 54 just went through sight right there. Here comes the 8. So the 8 definitely the loser. A little bit on the last few laps. He lost grip in his race car, but then lost even more time on the pit cycle to the 54.
54 was 3.77 seconds behind Noah Gregson when those green flag pit stops began.
Yeah, so the cars that have been on pit road, Gregson, Gibbs, Allgaier, Jones, Berry, Hill, that's how they line up once we complete this cycle.
And the 3 cars on the racetrack, Sanchez, well, there comes Sanchez right there, and Clements behind him. I expect to see Weatherman as well. I think their call was hoping to get a caution, running a little bit longer. Parker.
Nick Sanchez was just outside the top 10 when this race restarted after stage 2. Fell back a little bit on the restart. Just said the car's a bit tight here as you see 4 tires going on for him. The ARCA Series champion this year, making his 5th start in the Xfinity Series and having a very solid run just outside the top 15.
Drivers with issues on pit road, speeding for the 26, the 31, the 02, safety violation for the 98 team.
So there's Gregson off turn 4. He's going to assume the lead now with Weatherman on pit road.
Had a little, oh, well, Berry got back by the 19, okay.
Yeah, Berry's car lost a couple spots on pit road, but Allgaier and Jones both getting by. We've seen the speed in this 8 car on new tires. Drives right back by the 19. Now you see Allgaier right there in front of the 8. He tries to go after him as well.
Gregson, Gibbs, Allgaier, and Allgaier 8.8 seconds back. Berry 9.5 seconds behind race leader Noah Gregson. We see A.J. Allmendinger rocketing by the 18.
And A.J. was complaining about the car all race long, but is actually running really well. Right before this pit stop, is going to drive back by Bain there for 7th place.
And Trevor Bain was absolutely flying. It's not unusual to have a green flag pit stop and the car drive completely different than it did when you restarted after a caution.
It's Gregson, Gibbs, Allgaier, Berry, and Jones, the top 5. 51 laps to go. Gregson looking for his first Vegas win.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana, enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Pain used to keep me from what I love most. Not anymore. Blue Emu gave me my horsepower back. It's the powerful relief my joints need.
Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
The Loyal Order of Riders.
Riders, let your queries be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian. Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Pain used to keep me from what I love most. Not anymore. Blue Emu gave me my horsepower back. It's the powerful relief my joints need.
Blue Emu. It works fast and you won't stink.
The NASCAR season will come to an end in Phoenix, but the championship weekend will last forever.
The greatest are the ones that seize the moment.
4 championship races in 3 days, all set against the stunning backdrop of the desert mountains.
You got it.
Night racing, a doubleheader, and a Cup Series champion crowned on Sunday. It's a weekend you'll wish would never end. Get your tickets now at PhoenixRaceway.com.
Shows hustle.
NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs continue next Saturday from Miami. It's the second race in the round of 8. Race coverage on USA at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That's another opportunity for one of the playoff drivers to win their way into the championship 4 as we look at the round of 8 and where they run on the racetrack and the points. Gragson out front being shown up top of this list, and then Gibbs 27 points above the cut line, which is right now Austin Hill outside of that top 4.
Look at this mess right here on the racetrack. These guys trying to navigate the slower traffic. Hailie Deegan getting a little help off of turn 4 by Austin Hill right there.
That was help?
Yeah, well, I was trying to be nice about it. And that 16 car trying to get to the inside. Bailey Curry. Bailey's trying to get to the inside of the 6. I mean, this is lap traffic. We talked about how tough it is and how it can affect the race.
Beautiful work there.
Man.
Yeah, Allmendinger did a great job with that. He was being applauded by his crew chief. I mean, by his spotter. Check this out.
Hailie's up the racetrack. You know, she doesn't know if she's in the white and red 07, doesn't know really how many cars underneath her she has because she was just 3 wider almost. And Austin has so much momentum, and he just hates to have to lift because he's going to lose that momentum all the way down the next straightaway. Hailie did a good job hanging on to it. I'm sure she probably didn't appreciate that too much.
Deegan running 15th right now. She's
doing awesome.
Yeah, she's the 4th car a lap down, but I have to admit, only 11 cars right now on the lead lap.
Yeah, and her experience is in the trucks, which just way more time at wide open throttle, way more drag, way more downforce. You know, this is a major shift in kind of the vehicle and doing a really nice job.
And behind her in that 34 car, Kyle Weatherman. He's having a nice day also. 16th. Putting a lot of pressure on her. Parker.
Well, just to add on that conversation about Hailie Deegan and how different these cars, Xfinity cars, are from the trucks, that was a big thing for her that she focused on, was just how much off throttle time you have in these compared to those trucks that have a ton of downforce. Obviously, I've raced against her in the truck series. I know what she's talking about there. I've driven Xfinity cars. It is a massive difference. But one of the things she told me that's helped her a ton over the last couple of weeks is David Reagan is actually sort of her driver coach and mentor in the trucks, and as she's gone in this first Xfinity series start, and she said she's just learned so much from him. He's been a huge, valuable resource for her to lean on and to understand these cars. And I think, as you guys said, she's done a great job here. She's been up to speed really quickly. And having a resource like that, with all that experience like David Reagan, I just think that's huge for a young driver, Marty.
Parker, how about the recovery for A.J. Allmendinger? We talked about what the team needed to do to keep him in the game. The Nutrient Ag on board with A.J. sitting right now in the 6th position.
Caution.
And a caution on the track, Rick.
Yeah, caution has come out, and still looking if it's a car or debris that's out on the track right now with just 40 laps to go in the Alsco Uniforms 302. Hearing it's for the 19 of Brandon Jones.
Still running 5th.
Yeah, he's going the right direction.
Doesn't look like he's had any contact with anything.
So a restart, and Steve, as far as come to pit road, 40 laps to go.
Well, now the question is this going to be the only yellow? Is this going to continue to build yellows? Fresh tires have more grip, but the teams were just on pit road about 15 laps ago. So if you come to pit road right now and put fresh tires on, you're going to have a huge advantage. What makes this more difficult is only 11 cars on the lead lap, right? So I say that because if you save a set of tires, right, if you don't pit right now, you're going to fall right to 11th, almost right away. But if you run 15 or 20 more laps, you get another yellow, you're going to have fresh tires, and you only have to pass, 10 or 11 guys. So the big question is what's everyone's going to do. And now all the leaders do pit. All the one lap down cars are going to take a wave around. Then there's going to be like 20 cars in the lead lap. So This is a tough decision for these playoff drivers. I think the safer decision, as crazy as it sounds, is actually to stay out for some of the second half of the top 10 drivers. Let's take a look what happens in the 19.
Gets loose right there in front of Jeremy Clements. We're riding on board right now.
NASCAR thought he was going to spin out. That's that sideways and threw the caution.
Well, that's what Trevor Bayne looked like earlier in the race, too.
Yeah,
sideways like that.
It was a major break for Brandon Jones to get that caution, because he didn't make those tires happy at all sliding like that.
Yeah, it was a little quick on the button for the yellow, but got a lot of cars now coming down to pit road. Going to be some 4-tire stops, Parker.
Right, and Justin Allgaier was told to follow the 9 and the 54, and that's exactly what he does at the top of your screen there. Just came on the radio before that caution and said the car is just too tight to the center of the corners. Here he'll do 4 Goodyear tires and air pressure adjustment.
Crew Chief Mike Bumgarner told Josh Berry, I don't see the value in hanging on to this last set of sticker tires, so let's put them on now. Slight adjustment to keep going the same direction they've been going with this A car, Marty.
Yeah, to that point, and the point Steve's making, the last set of fresh Goodyears for all the teams here that are pitting right now. Ty Gibbs said, for some reason, we lost a lot of right rear grip right there. I need to be 3 numbers tighter. Noah Gregson wondered what the caution was for. The only adjustment for them, a very small piece of tape. The 9 teams delivers. They hold the serve here on pit road. One note, Rick, it has gotten a lot windier here in the last 20 minutes at Vegas.
3 spots gained on pit road for Allmendinger as well. Well, right now the top 4. Allgaier, Allmendinger, Gibbs, and Gregson all looking very strong here in the Alsco Uniforms 302 in Vegas. Wind has picked up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. See the sand, dust blowing around, the flags standing in attention. 4 drivers that are below the cut line right now in Austin Hill, Josh Berry, Brandon Jones, and Sam Mayer don't want to end this race in a hole where they go into the next 2 races with a different agenda.
Yeah, and any sort of issue on these final 36 laps is going to be more costly, because the way the pit cycle worked right there, we've had 5 drivers wave around and 1 driver get the free pass. So 6 more on the lead lap now. Looks like 16 cars on the lead lap. So now if you have a little bit of a hiccup, anything, you're going to lose more points even if it's on the last lap.
And Steve, that 10 car, Landon Castle, he stayed out right here last pitted on lap 142. So he's banking on there being a late race caution where he can come in and put on tires. He's not going to have near the speed he needs on this restart.
Yeah, so the playoff drivers are kind of sigh of relief, Jeff, right? Because they all pitted. They're on the same plan. But now at this moment, they're just a little on edge because that car on older tires is going to make this restart into one even crazier.
Castle on the inside, never has won an Xfinity Series race. Noah Gregson on the outside has won 7 already this year.
AJ's got to run on the 10 here. He knows those tires on that 10 are old.
Noah having to go to the top to block. Ty Gibbs on the outside.
Allmendinger to the bottom of the racetrack and to the inside for the lead. AJ Allmendinger to the inside, but he can't clear the 10.
Good run by Noah right there. He could have made it 3 wide on the bottom, chose not to. Whoa!
Contact made, the 10 sideways.
That's going to back Noah up. They're 4 wide.
Josh Berry came out of that in second.
Look at all the time the 10 and the 9 lose right there. Tons of spots. The most dominant car, the 9 car of Gregson now. Multiple spots back behind the 54, the 7, the 8.
Gregson trying to fight back to that 5th position. Gets by Austin Hill for it, but it's Allmendinger out front. Now Berry with a big run coming on the outside.
This is where Berry's been really strong on restarts. Allmendinger, oh, contact onto the wall with Berry.
Did Allmendinger not give him enough room? Push him up toward the wall. Berry slaps the wall. Can he keep going?
How much damage?
Berry had to know that the 16 wasn't going to give him the spot. Wasn't going to just move over
And guys, A.J. Allmendinger thinks he has a tire loose right now, asking the pit crew, did you get them all tight? He said, I'm pretty sure we have a loose wheel.
Allgaier needs to jump right here. Allgaier's got the best car. Needs to make it 3 wide.
It was not loose.
Barry still out front.
I'm still perplexed.
Not loose, buddy. Just not loose.
They're trying to tell the 16 the wheels should be tight. I'm perplexed by the 8 and how much speed it has. That was not light contact off turn 4. That was heavy contact to the outside of the 16.
That's why I was thinking Allgaier probably had the best opportunity.
You have to imagine it absolutely hurt that car. It should show up on the older tire, but there was enough room out there, but this is late in stage 3.
I think Barry just misjudged it.
You're telling me it's not loose. They've reviewed all the footage. They're saying it's not loose. It's up to you.
I'm not sure. So we don't think it's loose, but if it's vibrating, it's up to you.
Not loose, buddy. Just not loose.
Yeah.
AJ insists there's something not right. I can tell you that. He said, what footage did they look at? Last week's footage or this week's footage? I'm telling you something's wrong.
He's sitting there right there in 3rd place, still making some pretty good lap time with that trouble.
Well, and I don't love the radio saying it's not loose.
There. I know it's different tracks. I know different circumstances. If it gets worse, it's loose. If it doesn't get worse, it's just the tires.
Now he's under attack from the 54 of Ty Gibbs as he goes up the racetrack just a bit.
Steve, they're telling him it's not loose. How do they know?
Well, so that's a little bit of my struggle. There's 2 ways these teams do it as he continues to lose spots right here to the 54. You look at the helmet camera of the tire changer. There's usually a line drawn on the socket. The line kind of goes solid. This race right here is crazy. Or there's also a way that they measure the air going through the air gun itself, and you can see some movement in that data to tell you the lug nuts are loose. But I don't love them telling them that it's not loose emphatically like they know. I would prefer, you got to leave it a little open. Hey, we don't think it's an issue. Yes, these tires have vibrated. You know, maybe a little bit more delivery of support to the poor driver of the 16, because he obviously believed he did have an issue, although he's continuing to run.
They called A.J. Allmendinger. Watch this right here. Watch the 21 into the back of the 54. Just taking the air off of that car. The hard racing right here with 28 to go.
And at the bottom of the screen, the 54 has gotten around the 16, and now the 21 trying to catch AJ as well. Some wild racing here in this final stage.
We knew the intensity was going to pick up. And what's on the line is a spot in the championship 4. Marty.
And A.J. Allmendinger insisting, I'm telling you the right front's going to come off this car. So, Jeff, how long do you wait it out here if you're Allmendinger? Now you're sitting in 4th.
Well, the problem is you're looking at the points right there. A.J. Allmendinger only 1 point to the good. If this was race 4 of the year and he felt that strongly, he would probably be pitting. But if you pit right now,
still headed straight at me.
There's 16 cars in the lead lap. You are going to be in trouble with a decent finish. So it is an impossible answer for A.J. Allmendinger. He's just got to trust himself and do what he thinks is right.
If I was AJ and I had a vibration that I thought a tire was going to come off this car, I'd be running where that 9 car is, right on the wall. So whatever happens, you don't have far to go before you hit something. I honestly, looking at the pace of the car, am impressed by the way this car's able to run. If that vibration is so severe that he thinks the tire is going to come off, you can see it shaking the camera pretty good. I mean, this is usually a pretty relatively clear shot that we have, and you see how much it shakes the camera.
Well, look
at him. Here he is. He's got a big issue. Pulling low down off of the back straightaway. He's going to be coming to pit road, I imagine.
See that side skirt on left front?
Coming in, guys. Coming in right here.
That's the wrap coming off of it. I don't think that could cause a vibration.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll just do right side. Don't know, because according to them, it's all fine, so it's probably just me.
So a risky call right here. They said only right sides, but they're saying they're tight. So how do you know it's the right side tires, Marty?
Well, that was what Chris Weiss was saying. He's saying if you're sure it's the right front, which AJ had been saying the entire time, we'll just do right sides. He said, I don't know anymore, Chris, talking to Chris Weiss, team president, because it could be me. I have no idea. I'm just something is not right, so they're going to go with all 4 Goodyear tires here for A.J. Allmendinger. Tires they've used early in the race, glued up. We'll go check that right front to see if indeed it was loose. Allmendinger was running 4th when he made that call, lost a couple spots coming to pit road. 23 to go here. Look at the left side of your screen as Allmendinger plummets through the points and he hits under green here at Vegas.
And Marty mentioned it. What makes this even worse in the Xfinity Series is this isn't a fresh set of Goodyear stickers they're putting on this race car where he's going to go out and have a ton of pace. They have to use old tires from earlier because of the tire limit in the Xfinity Series. So now he's lost time pitting and has old tires on the cars. Now the crew is going to take a look at the wheel, try to see if the holes are kind of oval. If the wheel is left loose long enough to the point where a driver has to pit, normally you can see some damage on the lug nut holes. I see some pointing right there from Chris Rice.
And A.J. Allmendinger was doubting himself a little bit there, Steve. He was, I know something's wrong, and then he was like, I don't know, it could just be me. That's what goes through a driver's head in those difficult decisions. And he wants to hear there was a problem. He wants to hear that wheel was loose. The last thing he wants to hear is we don't see anything.
With our shot right there, you can see the oval wheel where the lug nuts go through.
Well, and that's the concern I had. You know, now you've had a team who told you everything was great, everything was great, everything was great. So now if the wheel was perhaps loose, now I've lost even a little trust in my group here. Like, what are you trying to tell me, guys? Marty, what do you see?
It was right front and right rear. Oh. Both were loose, Steve. So A.J. Allmendinger had it right.
Okay, so to answer your question, Jeff, about what do you use to make sure the wheels are tight, I don't know, but I wouldn't use what they were looking at because it apparently wasn't accurate if they had 2 loose right sides on that 16 car. And look what it's done. A.J. Allmendinger, such a great year, winning races, winning at the road course, back-to-back victories coming in. Now he's 17 points below, running in the 22nd position. Our first playoff driver. He didn't get as many stage points as most, and now currently the worst playoff driver by over 13 spots on the racetrack.
And that's with Josh Berry winning the race. If Josh Berry does not win this race and Allgaier takes the lead, those points will change quite a bit in AJ's favor. He won't be quite so far from the cut line. He'll be a little closer, if not right on top of it.
Remember, Josh Berry came into this race 11 points out of, the top 4. So
right front loose. Yes, sir.
That's what he wanted. He hated to have to pit, but at least he got confirmation that, yes, there was something wrong. The last thing you want, Junior, as a playoff driver is if Noah Gragson wins this race, that's okay, because he was probably going to advance anyway. But when guys start winning that are outside of the top 4, that's when the pressure gets ramped up.
Noah Gragson getting a little more aggressive than he probably should be, running right up against the wall. Take a look here.
Gets loose right there in the middle of the corner. Into the fence hard, actually, off of turn 4. Going to lose a spot to Bain in the 18 right there. Now he's trying to regroup and take that position back. But Bain has been running this line right against the wall all day long, both ends. That'll be a hard position to get for this 9 car. He'll have to go somewhere else to find it.
If you get a late race restart, Trevor Bain is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He will be a threat. They struggle. Seems like the Gibbs cars struggle on new tires on restarts. But this restart would be on older tires. He and Ty Gibbs in front of him on older tires on restart could be very dangerous.
Think about this front 2 also, with coming to 15 laps to go. Josh Berry and Allgaier, the 2 guys running first and second, also in this race last year. Justin feels like that he got beat by the 8 car, lost that race. He's tired of running second here. 1 second behind. He's going to try to find the pace in that car, move around and find the speed. We know the 8 car bounced off the wall. That is going to show up late in the run.
Trevor Bain worked by the 9 of Noah Gragson after Gragson also had gotten into the wall.
We have Landon Castle back there in 10th, who stayed out on this yellow. So if we do get a yellow, he has a fresh set of tires. Not sure he'll have enough time to make him work or not, but it'll be exciting to watch.
15 to go. Berry out front, and none of us chose Berry as our prediction to win this race.
We won't tell him.
Dave, what is the 18 feeling now?
He wouldn't have responded anyway, Rick, because he has said absolutely nothing on the radio, which I think is so Josh Berry. After the contact with the wall, nothing on the radio. The crew told him, we don't see any smoke, so we think you're okay. And then Josh just went to work, lap after lap. Now, with Allgaier closing it down from 1.5 seconds to just over a second, he was told that your teammate, Justin Allgaier, is ripping the boards in turns 1 and 2. Just be aware of that, but your gap is still a second.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds now as he starts to increase that lead with 13 laps to go here in Vegas.
So we've seen Josh Berry in the wall, Noah Gragson in the wall, and it doesn't appear to have hurt either one of them. And we thought they made pretty hard contact, but still, Josh Berry out there with just over a second lead, and Noah just got by Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, we always see these cars sort of use the fence or run into the fence multiple times at Homestead and places like that, but typically it's just with the right rear quarter panel. These were shots to the right front as well. You know that it's bent, tweaked the ball joint, changed the toe, changed the bump steer of the car, the front geometry somewhat.
Parker, what about the 7 running second right now?
Well, he's been very quiet on the radio as well, Rick, but one thing to keep an eye on with the 7, we're getting to about lap 25 on this run, and that historically through this race has been where that 7 starts to creep up the timing sheets and really click off some fast lap times. So we'll see here as we get down to 10 to go if he can start to close that gap back down to his teammate Josh Berry. And you mentioned it, Dale, he's finished second here 3 times. He's like, I run so well here, I have so much confidence, I know we can get to victory lane. We'll see if he starts to find that speed here as we get down to 10 to go.
Looks like Noah Gragson's found a way around Bayne. Now he's setting his sights on the 54 of Gibbs in 3rd place right here. Gibbs going to run this top, take that line away from Noah.
Noah has to check up there as he had a little momentum in the center of the turn.
I think Noah is the best driver in the Xfinity Series right now making passes. When he gets to somebody, he just takes the spot. He's got to get alongside Ty Gibbs at the right place with the right amount of momentum.
Going to have that momentum right here, Jeff, off of turn 2. Look at the run he's going to get down the back straightaway. Does he take a move to the inside here?
Let's see what he does. Got good momentum, overdrives the corner, stays on the white line, carrying speed through the middle, and he's just going to move up in front of him and not let Ty take the spot back. But that was just, I'm faster than you. It just was nothing more than that. Just right to the bottom and just made that pass pretty easily.
And Josh Berry continues to run laps that are faster than Allgaier, lengthening his lead over Justin. The 9 car now in the 3rd place has a real opportunity to get by this 7 for second.
Gragson at 2.1 seconds back from Josh Berry, under 9 laps to go now. There's the gap between race leader Josh Berry and Allgaier and Gragson. 8 laps remaining here in Vegas. Josh Berry did this a year ago. Went out, won the race.
They didn't look good at the start of the race. They didn't look good at the start of last year's race. But what do we have right now? We have some overcast skies. The whole track's kind of under the shade of those overcast clouds. And I believe it's improved this racetrack and steered this racetrack toward that 18. The exact same thing happened last year. They got really good late in the race.
The other thing that happened exactly the same last year is Josh Berry won. Allgaier ran 2nd. Gragson run 3rd. That's where they're all running right now. Once again, Noah pushing the issue right here. Sideways. More contact. At this point, I'm like, all right, Noah.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
The more he does that, the more confidence he has in the car to be able to withstand it. And I'm telling you right now, I know he's trying to get 2nd place, but he's also prepping for Homestead. This is exactly how they're going to run that racetrack at Homestead. I think he's one of the best at running the fence in this series.
No doubt he's one of the best at running the series, but I want him prepping for the championship. Like, we don't need to be in the wall right now racing Allgaier for 2nd. We're going to be okay if we come out of this race in 3rd.
Yeah, points-wise coming in, it was Noah Gragson with a pretty sizable lead over the rest of the field. If it ends this way, he would have a 43-point advantage over the cut line, who right now is Austin Hill.
The thing that Noah knows, though, if he can ever right here, he's going to try to make a move.
He drives the bottom of the racetrack, coming up the racetrack in front of the 7.
7's going to go down low and try the crossover move.
But if the 9 could stay, no, he couldn't. I thought if he could stay on the right rear quarter panel, it would give him the top here, although the 7 gives it to him.
Yeah, interesting enough, the 7 going to the bottom right here. So the 9 will have great momentum down the front straightaway on Justin with another opportunity possibly. See what he does with it.
Don't understand that move from Justin right there. Because he knows if you give the bottom to Noah, this is what he's going to do. He's going to drive in the corner, slide it up in front of you, and now he's going to make it work. And that all that pass happened. It actually happened when Allgaier went to the bottom in 3 and 4 rather than running to the top.
Now Allgaier again to the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4.
They didn't lose a ton of time to Josh Berry with all of this happening. You'd think that cost him a second or two, but still only 1.5 behind with coming to 3 to go right here. 3 laps to go.
Junior Motorsports drivers running 1, 2, 3. Berry, Gregson, Allgaier. Mayer back there in 7th. Allmendinger 2 laps down, running 22nd. Take a look.
This is all right. Right there, contact with the 8 and a lap car. That's why he's not able to drive away while Gregson and Allgaier are swapping positions. Just a couple laps to go. And this 9 car, 2 tenths quicker the lap before. Now about even. Both of them running 32.40s.
They do know Martinsville's in 2 weeks, right? I mean,
you ought to own these cars, Jeff. I'll give you an ulcer.
Under 2 laps remaining. And Josh Berry continuing to lead Gregson and Allgaier. Berry now out of turn 4, and it's 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank.
Justin Allgaier's in the wall off of turn 4, Rick. Pretty hard contact.
Real slow, really slow.
So he's also made contact. On the final lap, he slowed down, but still holding on to a 3rd place spot. Josh Berry did it a year ago where he, late in the race, came up and grabbed the lead. Now he has led 64 laps today, and he will go back-to-back in Vegas. Josh Berry wins again.
Amazing job, guys. I can't freaking believe it. Let's go to Phoenix. Hell yeah, Josh, you are the man. Woo! I'm proud of you guys. Man, I thought it was good. Thanks for believing in me.
There's a lot of belief in Josh Berry.
Hell yeah, burn it down.
Josh Berry advances to the championship 4. He is the first driver to lock in a spot in Phoenix. He'll race for a championship. No lettering on the right side of the tires. Josh Berry slamming into the wall, but it didn't slow him down. Even some contact late with a lap down car. Haley Deegan in her Xfinity Series career start, finishing in 13th as we see Noah Gregson and Allgaier maybe a little bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. I mean, I really didn't see anything between those two that would create any kind of disagreement. Maybe there isn't one.
They said a couple words and turned around and walked away from each other. Obviously frustration for drivers that finished 2nd and 3rd, Gregson and Allgaier, to their teammate Josh Berry, who ends up winning here at Vegas.
Shot right there from Allgaier. Noah gets out like, what? Is there a problem now?
Josh Berry, a bank teller from Hendersonville, Tennessee, turned race car driver. Given an opportunity with Junior Motorsports a year ago, it was a limited schedule. He went out, won races. This year, given a full-time opportunity with Junior Motorsports. Can you win a championship? Well, he's the first one that secured a spot in that championship race of Phoenix. Josh Berry has moved to the championship 4. See the emotions as Parker gets down there to it.
Right, Rick, you can see the emotion here, winning and going to fight for a championship. But I want to take a step back, a couple laps. The move on A.J. Allmendinger there off of turn 4. You get put in the wall. Did he squeeze you?
I was a little bit tight off the 4 the whole time. I mean, he left me a lane, but nothing extra. But I wasn't letting off. That was for a trip to Phoenix. I was willing to hit the wall and have a flat tire or whatever. These guys have done such a great job all year. We've had a tough couple weeks, couple months, but we knew that we could do this if we were at our best. And today was funny, man. The car took off really, really well for 20 or 30 laps, and then we built tight. So just like I said, had a caution with 30 to go and was able to wrestle the lead away from those guys and build enough gap to keep it. So I tell you, I'm just speechless.
Josh, a couple years ago, you were racing late model cars around the Southeast and short tracks, and now you're going to fight for a NASCAR Xfinity Series championship. What has this journey been like for you?
It's just been incredible. Like, I can't even put into words, really. Like, when we sat down at the beginning of this year and knew this was going to be an opportunity for me, I mean, my goal was to make the championship 4. I mean, I think if you do that, it's a successful year. And I can't believe we come here, locked ourselves in, get to breathe a sigh of relief the next couple weeks. I'm just so excited. I just want to thank Danny Harrison, Harrison's USA. They're regionally based in the Carolinas. He had a huge part in believing in me and getting me here, getting me this opportunity. Tire Pros, Jarrett Systems, HendrickCars.com, everybody back at Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Motorsports. I think this is Chevrolet's 500th win in Xfinity or something. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a lot more races than I've won. But, gosh, just very special right now, very special. Just want to say hi to my wife and my little girl at home, all my family. I know this will give us some time for some of my buddies and family members to get ready to come to Phoenix and watch us race for a championship.
What's your confidence level going into Phoenix?
It's a lot better now.
I think that says it all, guys. Josh Berry, your winner at Las Vegas. Marty?
Boy, Noah Gragson almost seething, looking over there at his teammate celebrating the win. Did you feel like that should have been your win, Noah?
Well, we're not doing burnout, so definitely frustrating. The 10 stayed out on tires and kind of hurt us there, but you know we didn't execute it out. The team did a great job. The Bass Pro Shop pit stop guys were really good, and you know, just got caught there. So definitely unfortunate. I drove my nuts off trying to get back up to the front and just ran out of time there. But I was hanging them out, threw them on the dash, and was giving everything I had, just not enough time there.
Once you came to pit road, a little tap from your teammate Justin Allgaier, you got out like, what's up? What was going on?
He's got no brakes. Just, you know, congratulations to Chevrolet, 500 Xfinity Series wins. That's pretty cool for them. Congratulations to the 8 team. And then Junior Motorsports, 1, 2, 3. So thank you, Johnny Morris. Thank you, Rusty Sellers, Bass Pro Shop, True Timber, Black Rifle Coffee, Superior Essex, Toughco, all the fans that came out. Appreciate all the support, and we'll try and go get them tomorrow.
Dave, I'm sure it hurts even a little bit more because his hometown race, and it looked like for much of it, he was the guy to beat.
And Justin Allgaier, Marty, thought that he would be chasing down Josh Berry for the win there, but it didn't happen at the end. What were you battling?
Oh, unfortunately, we just battled a tight condition all day. Felt like, you know, from the drop of the green flag, we just never could get the handle on our brand fashion, our Culture Camaro. And This is a shame, really. It's a great racetrack for us. Obviously, for Josh to go to Victory Lane, congrats to the A-team. To go 1, 2, 3 for Junior Motorsports. It's a good day, but it's hard to find the silver lining when we just struggled. And then just some of the racing today, some of the way some of the guys were racing just really was disappointing at the end of the race there, especially when we were trying to battle it out. And coming in here, I felt bad. I got in the 9. We have a bunch of damage from the last lap there, and couldn't get stopped. So just hate it for everybody on our team. We'll rebound and go next week to Homestead. But we got 2 good racetracks for our company, and we'll try to figure it out. But we were not as fast as Xfinity Internet today.
You mentioned that damage. That was that wall contact late in the race. What was happening?
Yeah, just some of these guys were I don't know. It is what it is. Just gotta run and drove to the bottom and had been running the top and just got off a 4 and wouldn't turn, unfortunately. But that's what we struggled with. That was the balance we struggled with, and unfortunately, I just made it worse.
All right, Justin Allgaier, 3rd today. I believe that's the 2nd in a row, top 1, 2, 3, the first 2 in this history of JRM. So that was kind of cool, guys.
Yeah, they happened right here at Las Vegas. It happened a year ago in pretty much the same fashion. And just to clarify, it's $499 as far as the wins for Chevrolet in Xfinity, but we love the celebration. Josh Berry does it again. 3 wins already in just his 30th starts. Josh Berry has locked himself into the championship 4. The Alsco Uniforms 302 winner, Josh Berry, has made his way into victory lane to begin the celebration with the team. And what does this win do for the point standings? For Josh Berry, obviously not worried about points anymore. He's locked in to the championship 4, but Noah Gragson, 44 above the line. Ty Gibbs, 25. Justin Allgaier, 15. But look at A.J. Allmendinger finishing 2 laps down. He is now 16 points out of that championship 4.
Yeah, but that was the big shakeup, right? When you look at the points in versus the points out, the Allmendinger dropping below with the Berry win, that is the big shakeup, the big story heading into Miami a week from today. And I mean, Noah, Ty, Justin, they're all going to run well there. It's going to be the same thing. I mean, the top 8 are going to be stacked with these playoff cars, and Josh Berry might just go on a run right here with the pressure off.
As close as it is, though, you saw A.J. Allmendinger. He had 1 problem today, and now he's 16 back. That could happen to Ty Gibbs. That could happen to Allgaier. I mean, no one is safe right now. Brandon Jones, we know he's won in Martinsville, so he'll be a threat there. There's a lot of fighting left to do in these last 2 races.
And I don't want to go to Martinsville with just 15 points to the good if you're Justin Allgaier. That is an extremely physical race. You're going to get used up. Guys are going to be crazy, bonkers in what they're going to try to do or willing to do to try to get to Phoenix. So you want to go to Martinsville in pretty good shape with a really nice cushion if you can.
All right, let's hear from A.J. Allmendinger. Marty was with him.
Boy, this is a tough one for A.J. Allmendinger. Looked like he was in a spot to kind of recover from a tough handling car early on. And then that last stop, A.J., when both right sides were loose. How do you move forward with a team like this when you asked them several times, I'm telling you it's loose, and they kept telling you, no, they're not?
It's the way it goes. Everybody's trying hard. It's part of the nature. We're last money pit stop. You're trying to get it all. I just wish I was wrong sometimes when I thought they were loose. But, proud of everybody on the SRS Distribution Chevy. I thought it might be a struggle. It was a really big struggle the first run. Bruce and the guys kept making small adjustments to make it better. Thought we were going to make an okay day out of it. And it's tough when you have mistakes like that. But we win as lose as a team. It's frustrating. So just got to move on.
How tough is that decision process, AJ? Because you're sitting in 4th at the time, and you're going to go way back if you do have to pit.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's what's hard. When they say they think it's tight, you just got to go off a gut, and by the time I finally made the decision to do it, felt like the tire was going to come off, or both of them. I didn't know which one. I just knew it was something on the right side. So it's a tough decision. I don't know if it's good or bad that I was right on it. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, and we just move on.
This team has shown a resolve all year long. Now you have Miami and Martinsville minus 16 below the cut line. How do you feel like your chances are to rally once again with the 16 team?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. We we struggle to have the speed to win at these places. You know, we keep maximizing it, but it was one of those things where we got to go with the mindset to try to win. So
regular season champ A.J. Allmendinger below the cut line. Yes.
No, sorry.
He's got his work cut out for him now. Josh Berry, though, they can start focusing on Phoenix. Yes, there's a couple races in between, but they know that they are fighting for a championship at the season's end with this win here in Las Vegas. Tomorrow, Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock, a big NFC East matchup. Michael Parsons and the 4-1 Cowboys are going to face Jalen Hurts and the undefeated 5-0 Eagles. That coverage begins with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern. Busy Sunday from here at Las Vegas as we will be kicking it off with MotoGP Australia at 12:30, countdown to green at 2 o'clock, and Cup Series playoff racing right here at Las Vegas at 2:30. Of course, NASCAR American Post Race Show on Peacock. Christopher Bell won his way into the round of 8. He'll be with Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton tomorrow to talk about not only that win, but expectations for the next 4 races and the odds for the championship. Well, here in Vegas, we'll be talking about those, and on the clock, we will talk former champs. Parker.
Ty Gibbs finishes 4th, and Ty, it just seemed like you guys struggled a little bit on the restarts getting going.
Yeah, I feel like we had a very fast Monster Daytona Junior Supra. Thank you to Norman Interstate Batteries and the whole 54 crew. I feel like I necessarily didn't even think it was from wheel spin or anything. It was just from people getting great runs at the back, and that's like, we were 3 wide. I came lost first, and then I was in like 6th. So it just is the way you're at and what line you're in. It's just a weird situation, but part of it.
You leave here 25 points to the good. So what's that do for you going to Miami and to Martinsville?
I don't know. You tell me. I feel like that's pretty good.
I think it's solid.
The stage one helped. I feel like stage 1 was really good. I wish that was the end of the race so we could park it there, or the rain came after that. So I felt really good. I just overall great day. Wish could have finished better. I just got a little bit tight there, over adjusted a little bit. That's my fault. We'll just keep going to Homestead.
So what is your confidence level going to Miami and Martinsville? Do you feel like you're better either of those 2 tracks?
I feel like this is this second round of the playoffs is probably easier than the first round, honestly, and I feel pretty strong there. So I'm going to go do the best I can. I feel like today I was wheeling the heck out of it and just doing the best I can. Thank you to Mitch and everybody at Interstate.
A lot of confidence for Ty Gibbs heading into these next 2 races.
Ty, a 20-year-old, and Josh Berry, the winner of this race, 31 years old, but only 30 starts to get the 3rd win this season already. So winning 10% of the races for Josh Berry in 2022. We thought Trevor Bayne might have one of the fastest cars today, and Parker was able to catch up with him.
Trevor Bayne finishes 5th, and you and I were just talking moments ago about your day and how fast you were, and then unfortunately had a little bit of a moment. How are you feeling now after what just went on there?
I'm okay. We were talking, and at the end of my talking, I started feeling out of breath, and I was like, Parker, I'm going to get too close here and pass out.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah, when I got out of the car, my left ear was ringing, and I knocked the crush panels out, so I don't know if I just got gassed or... all I can say is I guess I was trying as hard as I could there.
You left it all on the racetrack, of course. How would you sum up this day?
Yeah, well, I think it's been as eventful now as it could ever possibly be. So almost spun out, got a pit road penalty, drove back to 5th. And what I was saying right there at the end when I started feeling lightheaded is once we got to 5th, I feel like I moved the top up better than everybody. You had that gray strip at the top, and once the 9 got behind me, he moved up to where I was, started running it in, and my car just got tight as it took rubber. So the only way I could get it to turn, ironically, after spinning out for being loose, was to find gray racetrack. At the end, it rubbered up and just got too tight. So 5th place finish is good, but my opportunities are winding down here. I got 1 left at Homestead. As good as we were on the top here today, I feel like Homestead will be good. But man, I want to win one of these things so bad. You can't run the 18 car with Jason Ratcliffe and not win, but I do feel like we've got the speed. Jason's doing a great job. We just got to get off pit road with no issues. That's been our Achilles heel all year. probably cost us 4 races, but the guys have good stops when they're good. There's just mistakes, so we got to clean up. And today it was somebody falling over the wall. So what do? You just got to come back, race hard. Thankful to Devotion for giving me this opportunity this year, and I'll try not to ever pass out again.
I'm just glad you're okay, buddy.
Yeah, that's the first time that's ever happened. I don't know. That was woke up to people, hey, what are you doing?
We'll let you get some fluids.
Thanks.
And that interview was done a few moments ago, and now Trevor Bayne on his way to the infield care center to get checked out. But yeah, a little scary situation there for Trevor Bayne doing that interview with Parker. An excellent run for Hailie Deegan. As a matter of fact, it is the best finish for a woman in the Xfinity Series in their debut, where she ended up in the 13th position. Parker caught up with her.
Hailie Deegan in her first ever Xfinity start finishes 13th. That's amazing. You came in here wanting the top 15 and you got it. How happy are you that run?
I'm pretty ecstatic right now. The guys gave me an amazing car, and I just can't thank Pristine Auction, Ford, for everyone putting this together, because I always wanted to come out here and just be able to experience what it's like to run the Xfinity Series. And so the guys gave me a car as fast as Xfinity Internet, and we were able to do something with it. And so I was really happy with that.
What really stuck out to you through this experience from going from the trucks to the Xfinity Series?
I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the fact that you're able to move around on 1.5 miles. On the truck stuff, you kind of just plant there, hold it down, and go. And so I think getting in the Xfinity car and actually having to work a lot more for it, having to drive out of stuff a lot more and just be on that edge and constantly driving off that edge, it changes a lot of things. Being able to finesse with like throttle, brake, deciding what to do, dump out of it, crack the throttle. There's just so many different things that you can do. Whereas like the trucks, it's pretty much one lane, one way, and you kind of just hope for the best. So, and everyone races very clean in this series. It seems like there's a lot of respect, and I really like that.
So what's the plan going from here? Will we see the Xfinity Series more often going forward?
I mean, I would love to be. I mean, if anyone's out there that wants to pay the bills, I'd be more than happy to run some more Xfinity races.
Congrats on a great run.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's great. All smiles there for Hailie Deegan. Very impressive run.
Yeah, she should be smiles. It is way more difficult than she made it look today, to go out there with as little practice these teams have now and kind of figure out a new car, and did a spectacular job. Top 15 is a good day anytime in this series.
Cup haulers are in the garage, and that means that it is the Cup Series. They will be up next here at Vegas.
And I think it's going to look a lot the same.
These playoffs have had tons of mistakes.
Sideways.
Down. Oh!
Hang on to it. Down. My shoulder.
Another problem for the playoff contenders.
Came right up into me. Pissed off. We stuffed him in the wall. There's the damage.
How did that happen?
Hang on to it right here. Hang on to it.
It's amazing how many of the playoff contenders have had problems.
God, I don't know how this happened to us.
Playoff contenders and problems. Well, that's definitely not what these Cup Series drivers are hoping happens tomorrow afternoon as they take on the 1.5 miles. Again, 8 drivers now with a shot at a championship 4 option, which will be coming again tomorrow if they win. If one of the 8 drivers wins, take a look at the point standings. Chase Elliott coming in ranked number 1 with the 46 playoff points that moved over. Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, and Christopher Bell currently on top of the cut line.
Yeah, I think Chase Elliott needs to be thinking solid races. Everyone else needs to be thinking wins. I mean, from Joey Logano all the way to Chase Briscoe, the points gap is so tight that I'm not sure you want to lean on points. Now, of course, we know at least one's going to get on points, but I think mindset has to be winning. That, will be an automatic advancement into that championship race.
Could Ross Chastain repeat what we just saw here today and come out here and win the race and lock himself into the Phoenix final? We've seen a lot of pace out of that car in practice today. Expect him to be quick.
You saw Denny Hamlin. He's got to start in the back. I mean, he's qualified 31st in that range, and he was the playoff driver that had the biggest challenge today. So he's got some work to do tomorrow. Points are going to matter. You're going to have to get stage points throughout these playoffs, and hey, listen, winning cures everything, but somebody's going to have to point themselves in, and points are going to matter. So stage points going to be a fierce battle for those.
Practice and qualifying was this morning, and so they will be racing, afternoon. Sun will be beating down on the racetrack once again. How different will the racetrack be for them tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. We kind of predicted that the Xfinity cars would go to the top of the racetrack. We have seen these new next-gen cars in the Cup Series kind of move around at some of the mile-and-a-halves. I think it's a little unknown, right? How high will they get? If there's ever going to be a time to run the top in the middle of the day here in Las Vegas in the heat, will be the time.
I think this track will ride out. The drivers talk about how the tire for the Cup car puts a lot more rubber down. I think that'll get the track going.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to see Cup cars up there on the yellow, right by the wall, and also down on the white line and everywhere in between. It's going to be hot and slick tomorrow, and that's when the Cup cars that put the best races on a mile-and-a-half is during the day, hot, slick. That's what we're going to have tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. There's so much on the line with the playoffs looming. I mean, you've only got 4 races left in this season, and it's just so much on the line.
It's the first opportunity for one of the playoff drivers to lock themselves into that championship 4. Again, it kicks off with MotoGP Australia at 12:30, then Countdown to Green at 2, and Cup Series playoff racing at 2:30. Now, non-playoff drivers like Tyler Reddick or Kyle Larson, guys who are very good at running right up against the wall, does that give them a little bit of an advantage if the track does widen out that much?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Reddick loves running the fence. If that's where this goes and that's the only place you can really make time, he'll be a favorite.
And again, he is already won 3 times this year and actually won in the playoffs, but he was already out of the playoffs. So he will have momentum coming to this race. And again, the big announcement there for Tyler Reddick, he will be going to 23XI next year because Kurt Busch says he will no longer race full-time in the Cup Series. It was a couple wild rides. Trevor Bayne a part of that as he was sideways early in the race, 2-3 wide, bumping, banging, and in the end, it was Josh Berry who gets up front. NASCAR coverage always available on NBCSports.com. Coming up next on NBC, local news, except on the West Coast. Then at 7:30 tonight from South Bend, it's Stanford versus